TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me,
Lennard Ray.
Come on. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you were playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it. Boosie, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The Mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you have promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you were playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see your swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me. I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my play ways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I'll give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you were playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming. You can find me on Twitter, obviously here at TSWS Gaming, and then I have another channel with a few other homies that I run with called the Game Drain. But as of today, I have a fantastic guest. I've been following for a little while now, not too crazy long, but I figured him out from the Iron Lords podcast. I believe Attic was having one of his like Attic only shows or whatnot, and he had him on there, and I believe he had another guest, but I don't quite remember right off the top of my head. But he's been on several of those shows. Please help me welcome Mr. Hustle and Motivate. How you doing today, brother? What's going on with you?
I'm good, and I'm actually glad that you got my name right. There are a lot of people who don't get my name right in our community.
How do you not get that name right? It's pretty self-explanatory.
No, I think it's the number that throws them off. You know how it is, like when you have an 8 at the end and you don't spell motive all the way out. They just say motive, and there you have it. And I'm like, yo, it's an 8 on the end of that. It's supposed to be, you know what?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
yeah. That, but okay.
Hey, you know, I mean, it's Nipsey Hussle. You know, it's the record is there, and oh man, it is what it is. And hey, I'm the co-host of the Attic Show. You ain't been really seeing me like that because I've been dealing with some work stuff, but that's about to be over now. But I'm actually the co-host. I think I was on an episode of the Iron Lords one day. I did one of the reactions. Shout out to Attic. He came to me and he said, "What you say? You want to make history, Hustle?" I said, "Sure, why not?" So, but ever since I've been down with Attic, man, a lot more opportunities have kind of like come my way. And I say all that to say I just really wanted to take the time to thank that young man, because I know he was on this show before, so I did want to take the time to like thank him. I thank him privately, but now I want to thank him publicly, man, because different doors have opened up. I mean, a lot more people are looking, and that's cool to me. The fact that I'm able to be like elevated so highly just by talking a little trash. Yeah, I talk. That's all I do, y'all. Look, I talk a little shit. I do the podcast, and I have fun. That's all I do. And a lot of people see like the energy, and a lot of people see my my charisma, my personality, what have you. And a lot of people, they say, I like that guy. I really like.
I mean, you talk trash, yeah, but I think everybody kind of does. But there's a respectful way to talk trash where everybody can kind of see where you're coming from, even if you're right or wrong or whatnot. And then there's the out of pocket, disrespectful talking trash. And I don't know. I like listening to you and everybody on Iron Lords because I mean, King David be talking some trash. Like he is Mr. Trash Talker. So like I can appreciate when somebody has a little slight and pokes a little bit, but when people be going for the gut and then be getting personal with it, that's when I have to cut them off, and I'm just like, man, you getting too personal.
But
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on the show this evening. You are actually my second show of the evening. Earlier, I had Glenn at ID at Xbox on. I believe you showed up to that show for a little while. I believe I seen.
I poked my head in the door. A little bit before I started fixing dinner and everything. You out here working hard, man. I was like, yo, he did. I said, yo, he did it twice. I'm like, because I started to hit you up. I was like, yo, you sure you still wanna rock out with your boy? Because I get it. Like it'd be hard to run like double duty. Like even though we just talking and we just chilling, it'd be hard to do that sometime. And and our time is very important as well. Like right. You have a family. Like even and I don't, and I'm still like it's still hard to like really get me sometimes. So like I get it, man. I get how demanding that this thing that we do can be. That's why like I always appreciate. That's why I said I was humble. Like when you hit me up, I'm like, yo, we still gonna do it. I'm like, all right, cool, I got you. In the second, he's like, yo, come on, hustle. Like, I got you. Yo, don't worry.
Well, I'm motivated to hustle.
Oh, man. All right.
All right. Well, anyways, going ahead and let everybody know, or reiterate, better yet, what gaming and social media platforms that they can find you on. So either they can game with you, talk, some shit with you, or whatever. Go ahead and let them know.
Well, hey, Hustle and Motivate everywhere. Twitter, mainly. YouTube, mainly. And I'm on Twitch, too. I'm thinking about going back to Twitch for the live streaming because I'm getting ready to restructure my channel anyway because I kind of want to start bringing retrospectives. And I think I just made live streams solely there because I live stream on YouTube every week. I didn't do it last week because I'm going to keep it trail with you. I slept in last week. So every Saturday, I got a show that I call, it's either one or two names. It's either Save Slot Saturday or it's going to be 16 bits and beyond. Don't worry, it's already trademarked. Don't try to take it. Already got it. Anywho, it's one of those two things. Why pretty much just take a half hour. I might talk about what's going on with me personally in terms of the game and stuff, or I might talk about the news like throughout the week and everything. Last week, I slept. Like I slept like a baby too. I slept like the whole Saturday, which I don't normally do. I slept that whole Saturday. And the previous time before, that previous week, I don't know if you know him, but 108 Dragons, he had me on this podcast the previous week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. That's the most I go with that one right there. And I believe I'm subscribed to him on YouTube as well. Man, there's just so much content at all times to watch. It's hard to keep up with every single person that I enjoy. But I damn sure try to do my best to keep up with them and then also have them on the show here just so I can actually get some time to talk to them and kind of figure out what they're thinking, what they like, and kind of compare and contrast.
Mm-hmm. I just live by this philosophy. You got to do what you can when you can. I think it's unrealistic for yourself to hop up in everybody else's show. And people, they know, they understand. It's not, you do what you can when you can. You can't just be everywhere at once. You're not three people. Shout out to my boy Flames, the founder. Like anytime I go live, like I'm surprised he's not in this joint now, but anytime I go live, he'd be like, hey, what's up, Hustle? Like every time, it'd be 3 a.m, I'm doing a test stream, right? Just to test the audio and all that. He still be in that joint. He be in there for a lot of other people too, man. But No, it's cool, man. It's cool. Like, I think a lot of us understand. Like, it's you can't be everywhere at once. You can't. Like, that is impossible. And I think it's kind of I think it's kind of crazy that people would want you to be everywhere at once, especially when you do your own thing. There are times to where, like, I see some people in the chat now. Like, there are times to where I see, like, Sly Crow. I see Eric Cuts for the win. I see one of the troubleshooters. I see a ton of my people. And if I can't make it, I just can't make it. Like, either I'm tired or I'm working on whatever it is I'm working on. But sometimes I'll retweet it out at the very least. And I think that's how kind of that I feel like that's like a fair enough.
Sometimes you just need a damn break.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, I don't want to pick the phone up today. So I get them days all the time. And don't get it twisted. I definitely, man, look. Do I feel like it today?
I feel you though, because like I feel the same way about my two bros in the chat right now. Too Big, Stank Ma. Man, they are like the supporters, bro. Like, no matter what's going down, they got some kind of comment to leave, or I mean, whether they're here for the whole show or not, it doesn't matter to me. It's just the effort that they put in just to be here and say hello. Whether they're able to pay close attention or not, like, that's on them. But I that kind of support, like it's great. Like, it's really cool to see. And it kind of gives you that faith that you kind of need to keep moving, you know?
Oh, indeed. And you have to pardon me. I thought my chair was completely out of shot. So let me move my chair out of shot. Yeah. Nah, I feel that.
Don't.
Nah, it matter. It do matter though. It definitely do matter. Yeah? Like, it matters because I put a lot of effort into all this back here. I put a whole lot of effort into it. So you know how that goes. So let me be somewhat professional.
All my effort is torn down because I'm moving in a week and a half. So everybody's used to seeing like especially like the people that have been here several times, Mr. Joanna Dark, Stank Ma, Too Big, whatnot, and Dragonheart Yobi. Like back before, you could see like my Sega 32X CD Genesis mashup with the original Xbox and my GameCube, PlayStation 2, Sega Saturn, and yada yada yada. I had all that stuff behind me, and now that it's torn down, I just feel naked as hell every time I go live.
Yeah, I know. I actually, and shout out to Yobi. I see Yobi in the chat. I see Crow in the chat. I actually saw like a few different podcasts that you've done. I was like, yo, you got a lot of consoles over there. I say, and that's what's up though, because it's rare that you. Well, it's not becoming so rare. I think it's becoming like quite normal that I'll meet people with different setups. K Asante is one. He may not mention it so often, but he got a ton of retro consoles. Blaze 4K is another one who got a ton of retro consoles. I thought it was just me for a minute. So no, that's always cool to see, man.
Blaze obviously got enough consoles because he cutting them in half.
Yeah, that's my boy. People got mad at him for he lost the bet.
It's his money. And
he lost. I know he lost the bet to set that record. He lost the bet, but I can appreciate a man who honors a man or woman who honor their word. Man, he did what he did. He got the power saw. And,
absolutely.
I got a kick out of that. I got a kick out of that one.
I thought it was funny as hell. I was just like, well, I mean. He has a PS5 now, and if he had to do that, he had to do that. Like to me, it was one of those things where it's just like, all right, I'm looking at this and then it's interesting, but it's really none of my business.
Nah. Trust me, y'all. Blaze got plenty of PS4s around that joint. He's fine. But that's what's up. I enjoy like different parts of our community too. I know that this kind of wasn't a question, but I just want to say, just shout out to the community, man. Whether we agree or disagree, as long as we won't insult each other, I think we all get along just fine out here, man. I think it's dope that we all can kind of come together and speak our mind about different topics without getting too insulted, man. But I have fun over here. I have fun doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm really happy to have you here, but let's go on ahead and get into some of these questions because I feel like we could just kick it and just bullshit for a long time, but I know the last time I did that, I had and this dude be bullshitting. Like, he's real cool, but he be bullshitting. I be like Mooch. I had Mooch on here, and we we were just kicking back and just talking, and like 3.5 hours went by. And I was like, wait a second, I only got through like half of my damn questions.
That definitely sounded like Mooch to me, but we can just start it. That sounds like Mooch to me. Shout out to Mooch, man.
I like Mooch. Mooch is dope. Mooch is real cool. But anyways, brother, what you been playing as of lately? What's been going on in your setups?
So basically, lately, NFL 2K5, so I'm kind of working on something with that.
Let K Mega know. That's the best football game to ever touch the earth.
I don't really think that's up for debate. And if anybody wants to debate that, they probably really wasn't alive, or they must have been wee little lads, wee little girls and boys when the joint dropped, man. You talking about something for $20?
Facts.
And it almost outsold Madden for real. Yep, that joint was a budget price, and it was so dope. The presentation was dope. The pregame show and the halftime show and that postgame show, like the seasons was dope. But I'll get to that, when it's time. Also, just got this. I had to rebuy
the collection.
Yeah, I had to rebuy the trilogy because PS2 got PS3 rather, OG PS3. It got HDMI out. So if I want to start capturing footage, I got it. And I got this too. I got the double pack on Xbox. We was talking earlier. It was just literally one of those things to where like I lost like a lot of them consoles in the house fire. So I really wanted, and I'll do. Yeah, no, like I'm gonna keep it trail with you. It's not like they were near and dear. It's like they were sitting in my grandmother's house. Them joints were sitting up in the closet, and the smoke inhalation from the basement got up into the crib. So they had to gut the house out. So they gutted the whole, and I was like, well, damn, I said, I lost a lot of that. But I think I almost got back everything with the exception of my old school NES. But we got that in my closet though. That's in my closet where I live now. So I pretty much got everything back. But that's why I kind of went on that retro binge as well. And I'm not sure if you're familiar. Do you know a content creator by the name of Some Call Me Johnny?
No, I don't. Put me on game.
All right, cool. So Some Call Me Johnny, he was super big back when, this is back like, let's say 2010, 2011. This is back when Machinima was out. Remember when Machinima was signing all them deals they was just signing deals before they ended up going under. Anyway, I ended up finding him, the angry video game nerd who wasn't signed to Machinima, but I ended up finding them in the same pocket. So these dudes was doing retro reviews. I'm like, well, damn, one day I would always like to try that. And this was a long time ago. So I'm like, well, I don't really know the first thing about capturing footage. And I'll get into that later, but like the second I started figuring out everything, I said, well, how are they doing all this? And I just, that's how I'll watch it just from afar. And I've been watching his content pretty much since like 2011, 2012. It must have been like 2012.
They still pumping it out?
Yeah, he do it, but he only does it like he's under the algorithm, so he can do it like twice a month. he can be just fine. I got to put out content 3 times a week just for YouTube to be like, hey, I'm here. Right. Hey, notice me. Yeah, it got to be one of those things, but he'll still do it. He get like sponsored deals from like Raycon, Ray J's headphones and stuff. Sponsorship deals, and I mean it's public information. That's why I'm putting it out there. But it was one of them ones. AVGN, James Rolfe, he popped. As we know, he popped off. That boy done made a whole movie. Like he made a whole movie, which is on Amazon. I mean, it ain't that good, but at the same time, he legit got a movie out. Like it ain't.
There.
It's like that's like one of the ultimate goals. Like if I ever started putting out content of like that nature and that magnitude, I'm like, all right, well, what's the end goal? Like that'll be the end goal for me if I ever like can grab my camera up off here and start shooting and doing the B-roll and all that. That'll be like one of those things that I would always want to do because I kind of want to do stuff that's like timeless. And I know you didn't ask me that. But I kind of want to
continue.
I want to reiterate that. Like the news stuff is cool. Like I have fun doing this. I have fun with Addict on the Addict Show every Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all make sure y'all check us out on the Outlaws channel. You see how quick and simple that is? It's like when you do it so long, it's like you can just roll that off
right off the tongue.
Yeah, that's easy. That's like the easy stuff. I really want to because I'm not a filmmaker. I kind of want to challenge myself to get up out the room and hit the street, right, and then do different recordings. I want to do like just different things. I want to challenge myself in that regard. But I don't care if it gets 2 views on it. I just want to see if I can do it, and if I can do it the way that I want to do it and execute the way that I want to execute, then that's the only thing I'll be satisfied with, man. Like I know I gave him my absolute best shot. And here's the thing: the more you do something, like the better you get at it.
Right.
Ham, I'm not really sure if you saw my very first video on YouTube. I can tell you, it's about Derrick Rose tearing his ACL. That video was still up on my channel. That joint's still up, right? This was a voiceover video, and I'm nervous on the voiceover video, dog. I'm stuttering, I'm stumbling, and I'm not the same person I am back then. Let me just tell you that. Let me just, I put it out there. And then when I first started doing like the on-camera YouTube videos, and I shout him out. I haven't really spoken to him in a while, but shout out to Kofi. Kofi was the first one who was like, yo, hustle. Because we was kicking it. I said, hustle, you got to hop on camera. He said, I think that will be the best thing for you. So I said, all right, well, if I'm going to hop on camera, I'm going to make sure the quality on point. You know, so myself, I think BG, I don't know if you're familiar with Broken Games HDR.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he might have been the first, I might have been the first one with like a DSLR and actually took that role serious. Matter of fact, I think I was. I'm not gonna put our business up. We had a different conversation, but it was like, yo, hustle, what camera you using? Yada, yada, yada. I might have been the first one around here with that, but I actually cared enough to do that, because if you go back, like let's say if you go 10 years from there, if you go back, regardless of how close that camera was to my face, you'd never say the quality wasn't on point. Yeah, sure, I made a stutter and stumbled and whatever, but you see me pick it up over time. So like, nah, that was like one of the things that I always wanted to like echo. Like I wanted to echo, like, in terms of like my legacy, like I don't want nobody to ever say that I was like a dickhead. I don't want nobody to ever say that the quality ain't on point. I don't want nobody, you might say the lighting might be off. You might say the audio might be off for a little bit, but nah, he fixed that real quick. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So like when you go back and look at like a Halo Master Chief Collection video I did, right? You might go back and look at the Days Gone video I did. Oh no, this case, he sound good. Like he taking it serious. He taking it real serious on, you know, a hobby, but it matters to him. And you could tell that it matters to me. And, you know, look, this don't come easy for a lot of people. I feel like you have people in our community who are way more talented, who can, what's the word? Like Mooch. Shout out to Mooch, right? They can go on. They can do that forever. And they can do that too, right? More like short and to the point when it comes to like certain topics and stuff like that. Cause I'd be like a robbery, dog. I get you in, get you out. Like we doing this interview thing now. Like I'll be so comfortable doing it. It's cause I'm used to doing it. At first I was, you know, oh, hey, it's good to see y'all. I used to be like super size shit. That's gone. That's gone. Especially when I feel the vibe, when I feel the love, and that should be over with. It'd be like, well, this guy actually has personality. Yes. If I know you and we kicking it, and you ain't on no bullshit, then yeah, I got this. I can do this all day, dog. Like I know you said we can, you know, you and Mooch, you know, can kind of go back and forth all day long. That's my dog, and that's my dog too. Yeah, nah, we same here. But I think it truly takes.
That's my favorite thing to do is just sit around and bullshit and talk to people, meet people that I, you know, like, and that's why I do this whole thing, is because I'm all about meeting different folks, expanding my knowledge. I'm not always right. I approach a subject like I'm right, but I'm not always right. And learning that from people within the community, especially people that, you know, people that others aren't exactly a fan of, I like to talk to them as well. Because it's just like, you don't see what they see. So I want you to paint a picture for me, you know what I'm saying? And give me some sort of reason to kind of see it from your point of view. Not saying that I'm going to at the end of the day, but you know, like the more that we hit the block button on people and just act like they ain't there, or they ain't alive, I mean, that's just dismissive to me, in my opinion. I don't want to. There are people that you need to dismiss. I ain't gonna lie. There are some people that you need to shoo them away. But I mean, like, if you know that they have some people that are pretty cool that also follow them, I kind of want to see why. You know what I'm saying? I want to see why this person's cool with somebody that I don't find cool right now. Because I might find you cool, I might find you not dope from like a Twitter post or something like that. But like once I get you on the mic, I might think of you totally different, or I might love you and then get you on the mic and be like, man, fuck this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, you can't always judge the book by its cover.
Facts. That's big facts. That's big facts. Yeah, no. Most of the people, like I say, 90 was shit. 99% of the community who I communicate with, everybody seems cool to me, man. They show me respect, I show it back, and that's how it's supposed to be, regardless of like what your views are. Because I disagree with people on certain views, and of course I'm not gonna mention nobody's name or nothing, but I got enough respect for them people to be like, nah, that's cool. They can believe whatever. I just believe this, and that's it. And they know when I see you, I'm gonna catch you, and nah, it ain't none of that, man. I'm first of all, I'm too old for that. Let's just be real. I'm way too old to play the pseudo tough guy. I mean, look. God forbid if I really got to catch up with somebody, but I don't even want I'm here talking video games. Like this ain't the community to be tough either. Like, but for the record, because we've seen, I don't know if you be in Twitter spaces, but I've seen certain things from certain actions from certain people, and I'm like, you really saying too much, and I think you might want to chill because you don't know if the FBI, CIA, or whoever recording these conversations, but
right.
I think you might want to relax a little bit. Is what I'm saying. I don't care how you get down, but just. Everybody chill. Everybody not tough, man. But
that's the society today. Is they get behind a microphone or something like that, or get behind whatever, and think they can say exactly whatever they want to say. And it's like, you might be living in the land of the free, but if you ain't checked out the news lately, it ain't always so free. So you better be careful with what you're doing. It is what it is.
On top of that. And I do want to I want to kind of wrap this portion up because I don't like talking like that, but nobody's hard to be found. That's why I got it in my bio. I'm from Maryland. I don't got a problem telling people I'm in Waldorf, Maryland, dog. It don't. Let me tell you why that don't matter to me. Because if somebody really wanted to find me, they can find me. I'm a 6'3", 260-pound black man, dog, and you know me when you see me. It is not. Look, all I'm saying is I'm not hiding. I can't hide even if I wanted to, dog. It don't none of that None of that bothers me, but I think people do need to be cautious of the fact that, if people really want to track you down, and I don't want to take this there, but if people want to find you, they'll find you. And that's just, that's why Hustle be chilling. I'm always got a smile on my face and all that. I rarely get upset, man. Because, we talking about games. And that's the other thing, too. We talking about games, dog. I ain't.
Yes, thank you. That is the whole definition of all of this is it's gaming. Why is it personal for anybody? Wow, it's wild.
All
right. Well, moving forward, I just kind of want to know. So, you said you collected your systems, had them, and whatnot. But what actually drew you to it? What was the first console that you had, that you used, that you played regularly? You got off of school and you came home and you played that joint.
Nintendo was the first one, and shout out to my uncle. I got to thank him for that because at the time he's staying with my grandmother. And every time me and my brother, because I got a twin brother too, and a lot of people don't know that, but every time me and my brother would go over the crib, Uncle Derek, can we play Nintendo and all that? And the first game that I remember playing was not Super Mario Brothers, even though he had Super Mario Brothers. I was a big fan in the racing, so the first game I remember playing, and I didn't know what I was doing, was Pro-Am, RC Pro-Am, dog. And shout out to Red for that, because they made a classic game, but I remember I got distinct memories. I was 4 years old, but I remember my uncle having that, and not only having that game, he had a ton of other games too. He had a game called Wizards and Warriors, which is underrated, by the way. I think Red made that too, but I remember sitting playing the game and I didn't know how to steer, because I think you had to press up and down on the D-pad. It was it's just it's a left to right game. You hold it, you move left to right, you get missiles, etc., etc. But that was the first one that kicked it off. And I remember Christmas one year, or right up, really lead up to Christmas, my dad was said, "What y'all want for Christmas?"
Continue.
And I said, "Oh yeah, I got
you. I can hear you."
Yeah, no, it's straight. My dad said, "Ricky, what you want for Christmas? What you and your brother want for Christmas?" I said, "You know what?" I said, I want to play Mario, because I didn't know what Nintendo was. I said, "Nah, I want to play Mario. I want to play Mario." So this was at the time, I want to say Mario 3 was getting ready to come out too. And I didn't know too much about Mario 3, only because of the simple fact that we wasn't into Game Pro? Game Pro Nintendo magazine. We didn't have all that. We was poor, so it wasn't really a thing. So I just remember one year for Christmas, out of playing them games, I remember we went to my grandmother's house once again, and my father said, look under that chair right there. So I think I got one more thing for y'all. And my pops, he kind of looked out and he had the Nintendo box. And then I told the story on ILP too, but I hugged the box when I saw the joint, because we got two games with it. We got Super Mario 3 and we got Ninja Gaiden. And I remember it. remember that like it was yesterday. So I hugged the box. I was all happy and whatnot. And we got a lot of stuff for Christmas too. For the record, we got a whole. I remember that year. We got like Ghostbusters figures. We got a little, not an arcade, but not an arcade like that, but like a little mini, super little. I don't know, probably like a 2-foot pinball machine and all that. I remember getting all that stuff, and I mean it was just a whole lot that we got. And I'm extremely blessed to say that our pops, like I'm saying, we was around 4 or 5 years old. With Super Mario 3. Like that's the one. That game is like number 4 on my list of the top 5. But that game, the reason why that game's so important is the first game I ever beat, and that's the first game I 100%ed it. Like that was like a big one. But I was talking about RC Pro-Am because my uncle he would let us go in the basement and play the different games and all that. But that was like kind of what kicked it off, man. And from that, the baseball stars, the Kid Icarus, it was a ton of games. I don't think he had Legend of Zelda, but we just didn't play that. We just didn't play that one. But he had a ton of games. He had a ton of black box games too. I know you were retro head. He had a ton of black box games down that joint. And I'm like, I just remember having access to all that. I used to ball Cubit and Tetris. This is why I love Tetris so much. But Cubit and Tetris was like a big one. There was a whole lot, man. There was definitely a whole lot. I kind of hope that answers your question, but like Nintendo was that one.
That answered my question, so now I can kind of move to the next piece of that question, which is like, so you started out with that, right? What was like the aha moment of you in gaming? Like not content creating, just you strictly, young, and you're like, man, this is it right here. Like you're ready to stand in line for something, and get it. like put me on some game on that.
The aha moment, Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo. I mean, I remember graduating 5th grade. I remember this story like it was yesterday. Me, my brother, and my father, if anybody's from Maryland in the chat, that they'll know what I'm talking about, went to a place called Iverson Mall, and at the time, KB Toy Store used to be in there. And ended up graduating 5th grade, and my dad was like, I'm gonna get y'all a present, what you want. And at the time, they had the Super Mario RPG commercials out. I didn't know what a role-playing game was because Final Fantasy was out, and all these Super Nintendo, they had all the RPGs, like all them JRPGs, had a ton of them joints. I didn't know what none of it was. I knew what Mario was, right? I knew what that was. I said, well, I want this one. This one looked different. This one looked fun to me, right? The commercials, commercials got me hook, line, and sinker. Commercials had nothing to do with the game, for the record, by the way. It just, them commercials was wild. Them American commercials was just wild, but that was that one for me. I remember walking up to the store with my pops, and I remember we was talking to the store clerk, the dude at the time. He said, yeah, I made it up to Krakow. He spoiled that. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He said, yeah, I made it up to Krakow, and I said how far I got and everything. And this was right when the game had came out. And it was just, that was that moment. Like, that was that moment where I was like, okay. And then, like, because we would always, like, and may God rest his soul, my cousin Delonte, my little cousin, we would always borrow his games. And, like, I got Animaniacs in box because of him, because I played and beat that game because of him. Turtles in Time I got over here because I beat because of him, because he would let me borrow those games every so often. Like, but that moment for me was Super Mario RPG. It was like, you know what, I can be comfortable doing this for the rest of my life. Wow. Like, that was that moment. And it's so weird because I don't really play RPGs like that. It's the only other RPG I played since then was Persona 5. You know how long that gap is? That's a big gap. Like, that's a lifetime. That's a long time. That is a very long time. But I was just from 96 to 2014, I think, where Persona 5 dropped. And I ain't played that joint until 2020. So yeah, it was just a long gap. But it was just one of those things for me. I didn't really know, and I guess we'll get to that too. Like the PS2 era, yeah, I got a PS3 sitting over here that's back and pat. But I ain't had no PS2 at that time. I ain't no PS1 either. So it was just, just like, how you just miss out, and that's just it. You just miss. It's just, I had a Nintendo 64. That was it at that time. So yeah, you just missed out. Oh, I missed out on like a lot of them JRPGs.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was times that I missed out because at the young age I was, I had to choose what I wanted, and that's what I got for probably longer than a generation. You know what I mean? And I didn't care. I didn't care at all at that time because it's not like I was working or doing anything. It's just I was just thankful to get something. There wasn't a whole lot of advertising out either for a lot of this stuff to make you feel like you're missing out. There is a little bit here and there, the ads felt more like trash talking than anything. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't out there begging my mom for every single console because I already knew that just wasn't happening. Single mom working 2 jobs. I ain't finna ask her for a PlayStation, a Dreamcast, and like a GameCube or something like that. It was more or less like, you know, you do some work around the house and you'll get maybe 2 games for your birthday or something like that. And plus, like 64, I mean, since you had the 64, you already know, like $70 games isn't new.
Nope, not at all. not at all.
That's new. It's not brand new. 64 games were stupid expensive.
That's why you wait for the sale. And shout out to I want to get my man name right in the chat. Is that Rob Dots?
Rob Dedon.
Rob Dedon. Okay, yeah, my fault. See, he from DC. See, he know. Like when I mentioned Abbott's Mall, like he know what's up. He know that's Temple Hills right there, or Hillcrest Heights, Marlow Heights, whatever. He know where that's at, and like it. Yo, that's the other thing too. And I know this had nothing to do with nothing, but I did want to say, like, there's a lot of content creators out DC too, and I love that. By the way, I love the fact that I see a Rob Regal, I see a FC Violent. I love the fact that I see OBJ the Don. He another one, like who's from around this way. Enrique, I don't know if you know Brap. Brap is another one from around this way.
Yeah, I know Brap. Yeah. I'd like to get him on the show sometime. He think hella differently than me, but it is what it is.
Indeed, yeah, Brap. Yeah, that's my guy, that boy wildin'. But no, it's a ton of us from like DC who do this. So like, I think it's super dope. But and I just want to take the time to acknowledge DC. See my boy Flames in the chat too. It's you had mentioned it earlier, and I know this. You know, I kind of want to just say this. Yo, when we turned 12, me and my brother, we had to fund our own stuff. My father bought us a Nintendo 64, and that's the last console he bought us. Like, he said, you know what he told us? He said, yo, if you want games or whatever, he said, you better get out there and get a job. That's what we did. Like, we was out there joint moving furniture, working. I worked at Blockbuster cleaning off shelves for game rentals, dog. Like, it was a thing. It was much easier to get a job back then too. Like, we was working under the table. Like, I'm 12 years old, though. 13 years old. I ain't supposed to be doing all that. I was handing out flyers just to go to the arcades and all that. Like, that's a real thing. And I feel like you had asked me earlier, like, what was the moment that made you? I feel like that was the moment that made me because, like, yeah, them games was $70, $80. Like, oof.
Yeah. And then, like,
oh my God,
you wanted the accessories too, so like the rumble pack, the memory card if the game didn't have a battery in it. You wanted that expansion pack that was fucking expensive when it came out, and you couldn't even play like Donkey Kong or like Perfect Dark and a few other games without having it. Like, you had to have that, and like the parents didn't understand that stuff when you told them like, hey, I have to have this to be able to play this game. They were just like, well, you better pick a different game.
Well, you know, Donkey Kong Country had came with it, but you know, a lot of people would buy that just for the expansion pack, and then like, all right, we can give Donkey Kong back, right? So like, yeah, no, it was a thing. I think when me and my brother had brought Perfect Dark, we had bought it on sale, but I think that's the game that came with it. And no, I'm lying. Matter of fact, it didn't come with it. I think we got it used. We had the jumper pack, and you could still play that game, but you couldn't play all the features with that game. Like, that's a thing. Imagine paying whatever you paid for that game, and then you can only play half of that game. Have to play half of the content in that game, dog. Something like, it's a thing. And then we didn't end up getting that stuff until a little bit later, but yeah, no, that was a thing, man. And those times were easy and they were hard. Remember Pokemon Stadium?
Yeah, I remember that. And Snap. I used to fuck with Snap.
Yeah, it's, you know, Pokemon Stadium in particular. I remember that was a Blockbuster exclusive. I remember that in particular because they had the transfer pack thing on the back, but I didn't have Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow at the time, so I'm like, I couldn't use it no way. So we used 150 Pokemon. It would be me and my brother and a couple of friends of ours. Like, when it came to that Nintendo 64 era, it was No Mercy, which I got sitting over here somewhere. I got two copies.
Let's go. WrestleMania 2000 was my joint. Before that, and then before that one, it was WCW versus, I think, NWO
World Tour, and then you had Revenge. I need to buy both of those again.
Did you ever play like what was it, like Backstage Brawl or something like that, or Mayhem or any of that?
Nah, I thankfully no, I dodged the bullet because I saw some retrospective on those games, boy. I dodged the bullet on them juries. Let me tell you.
Backstage Assault
me
was
tell you.
pretty fun. Backstage Assault was pretty fun, but like Mayhem, that was rough.
I'm not sure if you know, but they were supposed to have been and actually this kind of ties into the game I'm actually getting Saturday, which is WCW, which is Def Jam Fight for New York. Was a game that's what you own. Oh, Def Jam Vendetta. I don't know if you got that one too, but it ties into that.
I had that one.
Yes.
I had that one back in the day, but I don't got it no more.
Oh yeah, it's cheap too. If you want me ride, it's like $30. It don't go for so much. But
it ain't Fight for New York numbers. I mean, that shit's like 150. Like
you tell me about it, because I just spent the 170 on it. You tell me about it. Yeah, I just bought it. I just got it. I could have emulated the joint away. I didn't want to though. I didn't want to, but but you know, but with THQ and the Aki Corporation, what they made, that was supposed to have been WWF Backlash, which was supposed to have been a sequel to No Mercy. But what happened was, and I saw a few retrospectives on this. What happened was, you remember the deal with WCW and Ted Turner and Time Warner, how WCW was sold?
Yeah, I've seen that whole documentary and all that stuff. That shit was interesting.
Yeah. Oh man, shout out to Vince McMahon, that old creep. Shout out to him for thinking he tried to stun on he stunned on TV. He was like, yo, I bought my competition. No, they sold it to you because they ain't want it no more. First and foremost, they ain't want the joint no more. I think it was AO. I think it was the Time Warner deal. It was like they ain't want wrestling on their channel no more. So it is what it is. But yeah, no. But that was supposed to be No Mercy. That was supposed to be Backlash. But then they ended up it ended up getting shelved. That game actually got shelved. That was supposed to be a sequel to No Mercy. And then 2004, which is when I say it's an underrated year in gaming, you follow me on Twitter, you probably know what I'm talking about. I said do y'all think 2004 is underrated in gaming? What I meant by that was, we don't really hear people mention that. We hear a lot of people say 2007. You got Halo, you got BioShock, I think, and then Uncharted 1. And there's a lot more to go with that, right? But a lot of people don't mention 2004. You know, in 2004, within a month of each other, you had Fight for New York and you had San Andreas.
Hey,
like,
2K5 came out then too.
Yeah, it sure did. Yes, sir. It came out September. It came out, it came out August. Like, and Madden 05. Madden 05 wasn't no slouch neither, by the way.
No, it wasn't Madden games back then were fire. And that's why the NCAA football games blew up so much. Because you remember before NCAA football came out, it was what was that game? It was like Game Breaker, and that was out, and
Game
Day for the NFL, Game Breaker for the NCAA football. I remember Jerome Bettis on the cover of, I think it was like 98 or something like that. Your boy actually posted a video. What's that dude's name? The dude that you were talking about earlier, Red. Always got he has red all over his profile picture. It's Rome.
Yeah. Shout out to Rome Rush. That's my boy.
Yeah. So I remember watching him because he has a bunch of retro games and stuff like that. He was like going through some of the pile of his stuff, and I was just like, man, he brought me back with some of those, like especially like the cardboard cases. Of those old, like he had like NBA like in the zone or something like that. Yeah, like it was really cool seeing that. But yeah, specifically college football games were okay all the way up until they got NCAA football going on. I remember that came out on the original PlayStation, and my favorite one, I remember, it was right after Ricky Williams won the Heisman Trophy. They had NCAA Football 2000, and I played the hell out of that season through season. I remember how painful it was once you finished a season of NCAA 2000, because you had to wait for the game to load the next season, and it felt like it took a day and a half for those to load up the next season and get the recruits and all that.
Let me be the first to tell you, them loading times, boy. Hey, listen. It's not for the faint of heart, especially like when you come. Like I've been PC gaming since 2017. 2017? Yeah, 2017. It ain't for the faint of heart, especially when you get an NVMe drive, and especially like when you come off cartridges, Turtles in Time, right?
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. I got Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 for the record. I just couldn't see it in there.
That was one of the selling points for 64 was how fast it loaded.
Yep. Hey, and there's nothing like it. And like it was just easy because I was already in the business of Devil No Mercy. Classic, boy. Woo, that thing, classic. I bought that thing twice. But I was in the business of that. That's right. Yo, that music, that bro. I gotta get the I gotta get the because I'm gonna use it as transition music at some point. I promise I'm gonna use that music. But nah, and then we got this gem.
Ooh,
and I
yes.
got this game twice, and I'm about to buy the third time for PS3. NBA Street, man. And it's one of those. I'm a little upset. I didn't miss the PS2 up. We missed owning it. I had a homeboy. Shout out to my boy Infamous. I don't know if he in the chat, but that's my boy. That's my man, 100 grand. I know that man for damn near 20 years now. We used to play basketball together, but we always used to play PlayStation. NBA Street Volume 1, NFL, NBA 2K. NBA 2K. It's important that I make that distinction. But there was a lot, man. And yeah, you know, them loading times. Oof. And I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to show off a little bit of the retro collection because it's important. Like, I don't know if people know how important our history is, right? You got a game like this. The reason, you know, one of the main reasons why I bought this, well, I knew the definitive edition wasn't gonna have all the music that it had in it. I put in I lie to you, I bullshit you now. I put in Vice City just to make sure the games and everything work. The first song I heard was by Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, dog. And I just sat, I said, you know what? Let me just chill for a minute. Because that I feel like with the retro stuff, and maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I feel like it take you back to a better time to where you didn't really have nothing to worry about.
All that licensing shit wasn't so serious back then, though.
Nope.
I mean, obviously they still had to like pay for it and whatnot, but like a game like Midnight Club Dub Edition. Like with the soundtrack in that game, like you got Birdman and you got Manny Fresh in it with his own songs in it, and Manny Fresh wasn't even big about making his own albums back then, but he had a song from his album on the game, and I thought that was insane. And I mean, you talk about Need for Speed Underground that had like Riders on the Storm. It had what was it, like Yin Yang Twins on there with Lil Jon. I mean, they like games. Games were wilding back then. They didn't give a damn, and it was so good. Like even games that were like knockoffs of another game, like True Crime Streets of LA, Scarface. Those games had fantastic music that brought you into the time that you were playing in.
Now, True Crime's Streets of LA, did you, because if you won 100% of that game, you got Snoop Dogg in that joint. I'm not sure if you knew that. I'm not, because a lot of people don't know that.
Yes, I do know that. That was fantastic. That game made you want to 100% it because it gave you all these like little tasks to do, and like you get the little check after each one that like checks off and tells you that you knocked it out. And the mini game things in that game were really fun, and the combat was hella dope. You had that Max Payne slowdown gun play in the game, and you had martial arts, so they were really competing versus Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, and if I remember right, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been some time since I played and beat that game. You could upgrade your gun, or you can I think you can upgrade the gun or upgrade the bullets in the gun or something like that. But that was that story, that True Crime Streets LA. That story was different. I remember because my brother had bought it for next to nothing. And shout out to my big brother, man. He really looked up, because at the time I wasn't even working. But when he brought that joint, we had an OG Xbox, ran through that joint, man. It was so lit. As a matter of fact, with the OG Xbox, once you put a CD on it, you can kind of ride around to whatever music you want to ride around to. And at that time, we had a Twister's Kamikaze album.
Oh yes.
First of all, classic. That joint classic, by the way.
Oh yeah, but it was, that's the one with like Overnight Celebrity,
Art and Life.
Oh yes.
Hope, the CeeLo Green version of Hope, not the one with CeeLo Green, not the one with Faith Evans, not the video version. The joint that he put on Coach Carter, not that version, but the OG version of it. There was a lot on that album in particular, but we'll ride around to the music and everything. It is so dope, man. Like that was fun. But that game was super. I want to say that game was ahead of its time. It just wasn't. I don't think it was long enough. It might be like 10 hours now, but like I remember running through that joint like fairly quickly.
Oh yeah.
But that game is I'll say revolutionary. I would love to see. I would 1000% love to see a remake, but maybe that's asking a little too much. I would just, for me, like it's just one of those things to where, like if we're gonna bring stuff back, let's bring that back. And if we're gonna bring something else back, I don't know if you played it. It's on PS2. It's a game called The Getaway.
Yeah.
You talking about?
That's the one in London.
Yep. You talking about Grand Theft Auto for real? For real? That joint was Grand Theft Auto for real. For real. It was like a more mature version of it, and it's good because I don't really think they had a map. I think how you got around was like how you figured out where you had to go was by the traffic light, by your signal lights, which was so dope. Like it was like you had to make a left.
Yeah, you'd just be driving and a blinker would pop up.
Yep.
And you'd be like, oh shit, I gotta take a right.
Yep. And that joint, man, like it was just certain ways around it, and it really got you immersed in it. And like it was cover based shooter, but that joint was cool too. And they be talking they shit in London, don't they? They be, hey, listen, there's some words that I ain't comfortable saying. They be saying the C word left and right. Oh my God, like slow down. Yeah. I ain't ready for it. I was grown at that time. I'm like, yo, slow down.
I'm telling you, games back then were another animal. They just were. Yep. I mean, you talk about true crime and like the history that's really good in it. Without true crime, I mean, eventually Grand Theft Auto would have did it, but true crime's the one that introduced shooting anywhere while you're driving. Because remember, before in Grand Theft Auto 3, and I think in Vice City, you just turned the camera sideways and shot. Remember, you turned your vehicle to the side.
Wait, do they stick? Because it's been so long. Do they stick the gun out the window on true crimes? Like, cause I'm trying to figure out what you mean. Right?
So like you hold down and click a button or whatnot, and he does like his like Max Payne type movements, but it's like while he's driving and it slows down. It's like slow mo, and you just like are pointing your gun wherever, and you can shoot wherever you want.
Right.
In that game.
Okay, yeah. Because they had drive-bys in there, but you can only do it from outside the window. Yeah. No, I got you. Let's say drive-bys for San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City, in Part 3. I tried to play Part 3 the other day. Oof, that thing. Hey, look, man, that's difficult. I'm not finna hold you. It's just hard. So
it was great for its time, but yeah, it's dated now.
Yeah, it's oof. Lord have mercy. I don't know if I can go back, but I try my best. But yeah, no, that was a good time to. That was a really good time to like kind of have, everything except like Nintendo didn't offer that, but that's Nintendo. Like, what we gonna do, right?
Okay, so we better keep moving because we spent like 40 minutes on that.
That's all good.
It's just how it goes sometimes. But anyways, so I want to know what you kind of think of this generation so far. So like comparing it to what we just got done talking about just momentarily or for quite some time. I want to know like how you compare like games then to games like now.
I'm all for the new era of gaming. 2013, right? We got Grand Theft Auto. We got one of my favorite games, my second favorite game of all time. We got The Last of Us, right? And I know you asked me to talk about this era, but The Last of Us is kind of appropriate because it comes out September 2nd of this year, right? So it's important that I bring that up.
That's new enough to me. I mean, I'm talking pretty much like within like the last 10 years.
Okay, all right. Well, I can still bring it up, but if we're talking in terms of storytelling and controls, like I'm glad everything happened back in the day, but it took for a game like Halo to master controls of a shooter on console because we ain't really had that before. Yeah, sure, we had GoldenEye on 64, right? We had that, but it wasn't quite right. Halo was probably the first one that I experienced that was superb in terms of just controls. And we talk about controls in gaming. The 2 analog sticks, man. I got it right here. Hold on, I got an old PS3 controller. 2 analog sticks. We needed something like this to be able to control games like The Last of Us, right? I feel like it's so important to have, and I'm going to mention The Last of Us. It's my second favorite game. Like Uncharted 2 is my favorite game, right? It's important for us to have that, and I like this era more, but I will pay respect to the previous era's predecessor. I'm going to pay respect to the predecessors over there. I got to, because everything was like the lead up to like perfect storytelling in the game, perfect amount of action, even stealth elements. And I don't like stealth elements in terms of like The Last of Us. I don't like stealth elements at all. Like, I am not a fan of Metal Gear. I am not a fan of like Hideo Kojima or nothing like that. So it surprised me a little bit when Neil Druckmann came out and said, yo, Hideo Kojima is one of his biggest inspirations for The Last of Us. That actually hurt me a little bit because I don't like Kojima at all. Like, I don't think that he's extremely, I don't think he's interesting. I'm gonna keep it real. I think he's good at what he does, but I ain't cool on the super stealth games. But that element of stuff added in those types of games. And it was really the storytelling. Like, you had a narrative-based action game, which was in part a horror game too, right? Because a lot of people say The Last of Us ain't a horror game. That game was horrific.
Yeah, it was horrific. All right.
Lord have mercy. And, you know, but I appreciate it because that was the first game that kind of made me feel, in the last 10 years, that made me feel something outside of like Super Mario, right? Outside of like a beat 'em up or something like that. That was the first narrative game that really made me feel like, yo, this can really, not only can this really go somewhere, but I want to go back and play what I missed because I really want to see what I missed. Because a lot of them like, games I was playing before was like Grand Theft Auto and all that. It wasn't like, you know, Def Jam at that point. No Mercy. Like, them games didn't really, they had story, but not really, right? It wasn't nothing that was like so gripping and so emotional that, you know, can I spoil The Last of Us 1? Is that cool?
I personally don't care. I beat 1 and 2. So it doesn't matter to me.
Well, 2 I ain't played yet, but all I'm saying is an emotional moment when Sam, you know, killed his brother and killed himself, or Henry killed his little brother, killed himself because his little brother got infected.
Yeah, you're talking about the older brother and
the older brother and the younger brother. Yes, sir.
In the first game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that was the thing. That was the thing that made me like really put that. Like, I couldn't pick that game up for like a few days. Like, that was an emotional thing. Like, it was bad because there was only 2 black characters in that game too. By the way, so I'm like, well, there was only 2 important black characters in that game. He had other NPCs or whatever, but whatever. It was just one of those things. I was like, damn. And then like toward the end of the game, like, and I knew I was a fan of that game at that point, because I wanted to pick it back up and finish everything off. When Ellie was in the scene with David, and you had to kill David pretty much with Ellie. She picked up the, you know, hatchet and just put the work in. That was an implied rape scene, by the way. And so for a game of that magnitude to take it there, like, it's just one of the things. And I played it 7 years later, mind you. I played it 7 years later. So like, for a game to like take it there and cross them boundaries, like, it's just that like, I feel like the thing that we call gaming is on a completely different level at that point. I feel like, yo, it's all fun and games up until we really tell you a real story, you know, regardless of the clickers and all the zombies and all that stuff. Regardless of that, like, when they give you a narrative-based game like that and they can make you feel something, I feel like, you know, the future of gaming is in good hands. And I'm gonna be real with you. I appreciate this, you know, era of gaming way more than the one back there. And I can't wait to see what Naughty Dog comes up with next. Like, that next one, I guess, is supposed to be in space. I don't know. It's rumored. It's heavily rumored, but I can't wait to see that. That's something I want to see, dog. Because I want to see how far they can push it. Because I haven't played The Last of Us 2 yet. I know what happens in it. And, you know, I just want to see where they can take it next. And I want more studios. Like, I want Microsoft. I don't know if you're a big Xbox cat, but I do want Microsoft to like have their own Naughty Dog-esque type studio.
Oh yeah,
I want Naughty Dog.
They might have it already. We're just waiting for things to come out.
Yeah, I know.
But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see something like that too, because to me it's inevitable for them to have to get something like that at some point. I mean, for all we know, it could be Ninja Theory, because they're looking pretty nasty with that that new Hellblade coming out. Like they were talking about, we were watching gameplay, like, y'all don't let me down after telling me that, because you done told everybody, you done showed everybody and said this is gameplay. Don't be coming out with a game looking suspect after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got a lot to prove for sure. But
absolutely.
Yeah, now I hope that answers your question, man. But no, this era of gaming, man, like, I'm happy for it. I think the future is extremely bright. Like, and not even like I said, Naughty Dog. Like, I didn't even mention Insomniac, right? I didn't even mention Crystal Dynamics because they took over for Perfect Dark. I didn't even mention that. Like, and I'm looking forward to Perfect Dark, by the way.
Perfect Dark's gonna be fire, I bet.
It better be. That's my childhood right there. It better be, boy.
Right. I mean, it's hitting us in the nostalgia, hitting us right in the feels. So you kind of gotta come correct, because I specifically remember my favorite gun to this day in Perfect Dark is the laptop gun.
Laptop gun. I knew you was gonna say that.
You can turn it. Come on, man, it's a turret.
I know. Yeah. You flip the joint, throw it up on the wall, throw it on the floor, and
then watch them all get laid. And then run the opposite way, and just try to squeeze them into it.
Well, at least you didn't say the Farsight though, man, because I might have to leave if you would have said the Farsight. That Farsight multiplayer, boy, oh my God, I hated that gun. Hate it with a passion, dog. Like we had to turn that off. Like you couldn't.
Was that the railgun?
That was the gun where it was an X-ray gun where you could shoot through, you could see through walls and you could shoot through walls.
Yeah. So it was just like the railgun off of like Red Faction back in the day. If you ever played that game, did you ever play Red Faction? Oh, bro, that game was insane. I'm surprised they haven't made a game like it since. You can burrow yourself into walls and hide in there with a railgun and just shoot people all over the map, because it was just like that gun you were just talking about.
That's
it was some bullshit though, because usually the matches would be like timed, or it'd be like a certain amount of kills that you get, but like sometimes you'd play timed just so everybody would have the same amount of time to make kills, and some people would burrow themselves in the walls and do that shit, and you would not find them the whole match because they pretty much glitched themselves in there, but they did it by, you just grab a rocket launcher and keep shooting at the wall, and it will dig further and further and further and further in, and you can hide inside.
Like it pushes you back. All right. Yeah.
No. It doesn't push you back. You shoot the rocket into the wall and it creates a hole just like a real rocket would. And you keep shooting rockets, and you can build your own tunnel in that game and go hide.
Yeah, y'all got it. I'd have cut the game off after that.
All right. Well, I got a new question for you, because that kind of ties up all of the consoles and like retro and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious, like, now I want to jump into like content creation and like what like motivated you to go that way. Like, who kind of put you on, or did you just, get up and, decide to do it yourself? You did say your first video was about an injury from Derrick Rose. So obviously gaming wasn't the very first thing, even though you were a gamer, but gaming wasn't the only thing that you were willing to do to create content.
Yeah. Well, and in terms of that, it was just, I saw a homie do it. But as far as like, and that was just my homeboy Infamous. I saw him do it. So I said, I'll just try it just to try it. That's why I was talking sports. In terms of video games, Jack Move Johnny, Eric Cuss for the one. I figured, because at the time they were doing press start and everything. And I really enjoyed their opinions on a lot of stuff. So I'm like, well, let me just give it a shot. And shout out to both of them. I'm real like cool with the both of them, man. But I said, let me try it. Because I always thought Jack Move was like extremely hilarious. Like that cat, he's a funny cat, man. Probably one of the coolest dudes around this joint. Erica, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Erica, probably one of the sweetest people around here, man. So I always kind of feel like both based off of both of their content, I feel like I'm the creation of like both of them, like the good parts of the both of them. Though I try to be extremely knowledgeable, right? I try to be a little funny, and I just try to do my thing. But them two in particular, I just, how you binge people? You might binge and you might just see like a ton of videos. That's kind of what did it. That's kind of what did it for me. And like I saw a bunch of Jack stuff, and I saw a bunch of Erica stuff. And then I was like, okay, well then, there's a whole community there. We spoke about them earlier, behind the scenes with like Broken Games HDR. Like when they was doing their whole thing, I said, well, let me just sit and check them out and everything. But I ended up finding Jack, and I just thought some was extremely dope. And through Kofi, I ended up finding Erica, and I thought, and I still think that Erica's extremely dope. So I kind of just did what they did. I just kind of put my own little spin on it. You understand? Like it was just, but it was them two. It was just like them two in particular. Like I looked at it like, all right, if they can do it, I know I can do it. And it just kind of gave me the confidence that I really needed to, kind of put myself out there a little bit more. So now I'll always credit those two first for that, even though they may not like me crediting them as much. But it's just one of those things. They may not like it, but I don't give a damn. They're not gonna fight me over it. So that's just, it ain't no thing. It's just, but I credit those two for that first. Like no matter what, I always credit those two because I always think that they dope in their own ways, and I feel like I just picked up. And then like we was talking earlier, like when I started, and shout out to Kofi. Like when I started, he was like, "Yo, Hustle, I think you might want to get on camera." I'm like, "Yes." And then in terms of quality, like, I try to do my best to like have that legacy live on forever and ever in terms of I don't be on no BS. And like you see, like by the setup that I take this extremely seriously, but I always have fun too. So like it's just one of those things. So a lot, but those two in particular, like for me, I feel like they kicked it off. They initiated the whole thing. And regardless if they get embarrassed and if I mention it over and over again, I'm gonna mention it over and over again until the end of time because that's just how it is. Like I feel like you gotta give the people who inspired you their flowers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. A person that inspired me to get into it was, like I said, I don't mind talking to people, but I hit up King David just randomly because he seemed like a pretty easygoing fella. So I went on ahead and hit him up, and I was just like, "Yo, man," because for a while I was just like making these like videos on my phone. Of just like random gameplay of a specific game and just kind of showing it off. And I was having a lot of fun doing that, but like, I was like, man, I got all this stuff. I feel like I should like, get out there more because I'm more into talking to people and stuff like that than I am into making these little videos that I was making. So I went and hollered at him and I was like, yo, man, I'm thinking about making content. Like, how much stuff do I need to have as a setup? And I was asking him, all like kind of the newbie questions. And he was just like, bro, just do it. Like, you thinking too much about it. Just fucking do it.
Yep.
And just hearing something as simple as that pushed me, to just go on ahead and do the damn thing. And quit messing around and quit waiting for the perfect moment to start. Just get in there. And figure it out, and figure it out, and you'll get better as time comes. And I used to write down my intros for this show. I used to write down my intros and like say specific things every single time. I still kind of find myself still saying those specific things because I train my mind, but I don't need that to get me to start a show anymore. I just pop off and say what I got to say and, introduce the guests. And it's just a lot more comfortable now. It's exactly what you were talking about earlier with, as time goes, you just kind of start doing it naturally.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to King, man. He probably one of the most thorough people around this joint. Like he cool like that. But a ton of them, like, again, like I feel like the energy you put out is what you get back. And I like, especially with King in particular, and shout out to him because he got a birthday coming up too. So that's my fellow Cancer right there. He's always cool. He always been like cool and kind of me before I got on the Addict show. So, but all of them over there, Cog and Solve and Addict, of course, but all of them over there is cool. And he was right though. Like, you just do it. They'll tell you, listen, when you first start YouTube, they'll tell you, don't spend a ton of money on equipment and all that because you got to A, make sure you like it, and B, you want to make sure that you're somewhat successful before you just blow the bag on all this stuff. So like, it's a thing. It's the fine line. But I'm gonna tell you some dope shit. I did a video from my phone. I was driving home. I remember I was driving home from work around a Game of the Year time, and I said, you know what? What does Game of the Year mean to you? That little clip I put out on Twitter, got like 3,000 views on the joint. I'm like, well, if it's that simple, right? None of my videos had that at that time. It's like none of my videos like had that at that time at all. It's one video that I had that had that many views, but I ended up deleting that video. But they understand how just easy it is. Like you were saying, you was doing it from your phone. Like that took me back to that moment. I don't know if you're familiar. You might not have been following me then, but I did a video with about Xbox Game Pay or Xbox games with Gold, how they was going to double the price.
Oh
no. This was at that time. So I took a clip out.
That time.
Yeah, so I took a clip out. I said, hey, build an NZX TPC, which I got over here down to the left of me. And NZXT kind of picked that up and they tweeted it out, and a lot of people like that joint caught a lot of traction. I'm like, that didn't take me no time to do. So like, nah, you don't gotta have a ton of equipment. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this young lady, but her name is Miss Bubbles. She be over there with my homies over there at Level 1. Like, she records all her videos from her phone, from her cell phone.
Yeah, Doc Dark does the exact same thing. Which I don't know if you know him or not, but he just sets
look
his
like Porter
phone
Rock.
up. And
It looked like Porter Rock.
Yeah,
That's the same
exactly.
cat. Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy right there. Yeah, I know you're talking
cool.
about.
I had him on the show a little while ago, but he does that same exact thing with his phone, and I'm just like, bro, like you really don't need a whole lot. You just need to do the damn thing.
You don't. Nah, you just got to do it, and you got to be consistent. Like that's what I'll tell you. Like, just make sure you're on a consistent schedule, because that's what everybody has told me from people. People like ILP, people like Oh Noah's Alex, people like ACG. ACG was the big one, yo. He was like, yo, he said, yo, you just gotta do it. You just gotta be consistent. He said, you can carve out your own lane and everything, of course, but you gotta be consistent. And that's the big homie. That's the big homie telling me. That's somebody with 700,000-800,000 subs, like, telling me, yo, that's what you got, and you straight. And you know, that to me was like, first of all, dope, because he kind of sat me down and everything. Like, he cool cat, man. He's super cool cat. Like that to me, like I didn't have like moments in the YouTube thing. Like, I'm regular. Like, you understand? Like, I came from the comment section. So like to have somebody of that stature, like, nah, I got you. Just like the person like who we talked about, who I'm not gonna say out loud, who I said I'm gonna interview. Even though I went to go meet him, like, but just to have that helping hand, like just to be there, like when I'm ready. You understand how humbling that is? Like that to me is like, yeah, that shit, wow, boy. I'm like, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it, but maybe I do. Maybe, you know, maybe in some odd way I do. But but just start. Just start and keep going. And you say that, right? You had John Lennon on this joint, man. I ain't trying to hit nothing. I ain't trying to hit you brush your shoulders off, dog. Like, I ain't trying to hit shit. Yeah, John Lennon on this joint, man. And the reason why I'm so big on John Lennon, I love DF Retro. Like this. Hey, I like DF Retro. Oh yeah, Digital Foundry, cool. That's cool. They talk to PC and all that. That's cool. I like the retro stuff, as you can tell. Like I like the retro stuff. So like just when it's different facts that I don't know, yeah, that was cool. Like he was on this joint. I was looking. I said, damn. And look, this was at the time you had hit me up. I was like, yo, you sure you want me on this joint? You about to take off, sir? You sure? But that's that's good to see though. And then again, like the important thing is like, yo, you just started and you kept going. Out of everybody that you've had on, right? You started and you kept going. You ain't get sidetracked. You ain't get deterred. You ain't get discouraged. There ain't none of that. You ain't get discouraged in nothing. So it was like, nah, I got it. I'm just gonna keep going. And that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to do it, man. But I think it's dope what you got. And I know this thing had nothing to do with the question you asked, but I think it's dope what you got going on over here. And just I tell you, like I told my homegirl Contra, man, you better remember me when you get to the top. Or take me with you with something out this joint, dog, because it's gonna get good. No, it's gonna get real good for you, man. Just keep it up, dog. Like I'm gonna tell you that off rep. Just don't get caught up in nothing. You'll be all right. All you gotta do is keep going, because people see that too. People see that as well. So yeah.
People see what in specific? What's the last thing you said?
Consistency.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, I appreciate all the kind words, brother. I really do. I appreciate what you do. I'm excited to see you start to make some other content as well. I mean, I'm really excited to see who you mentioned before the show. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus like that, but
yeah, it's not ready yet.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you got coming out here soon. So can't wait.
Appreciate it.
But moving forward, of all the generations of consoles that you've played, I'm kind of curious, like, which one would you go back and relive?
Ooh. Damn.
I mean, was there something that you may have missed out on? I ain't hear you mention nothing about Sega.
But we had a Sega, but I didn't have a Sega till late anyway. So like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Golden Axe. We had I don't know if you're familiar, but we had a game called the Sega 6-pack, which came with Revenge of Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Super Hang On. What was the other one? Columns. And I think Sonic won. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it came with them 6 games. And we bought it when it was heavily discounted. I wasn't a Sega kid. I was always a Nintendo kid. But we got it in on Sega, though. We got it in. It just wasn't until much later. As far as going back to relive a generation, I tell you what, because that's a flawed question, right? And there's a hole in that question. I tell you this, I get a PS3 that's back compat, so I can go back and relive them PS2.
Oh my goodness, here we go. You typed in the
should I play
cheat
fair?
code right there.
Should I play fair? All right, look, I'm gonna play fair. I'm gonna play fair. For me personally, I say PS3 though. I say PS3 because even though I didn't play The Last of Us, it's still my second favorite game of all time. I didn't play Uncharted 2 at that time. So if I had to go back and relive it and get all that stuff as it came out, it would have been the PlayStation 3 hands down because they had more titles at that point that appealed to me. Now, a lot of that stuff was third party for me, but I would have had that so I could have the ability to play the Last of Us for the first time. I actually regret not playing that right away because like I had to make a choice between Grand Theft Auto 5 and The Last of Us because one came out in June, one came out in September. I couldn't afford both. And I said, but damn, what do I do? What do I do? My homeboy Infamous was like, yo, Hustle, you need to get Last of Us. He said, Ricky, you need to get Last of Us. I said, I don't know. Because I didn't know about Naughty Dog at that time. At that time, I was super late on that train. I knew they did Crash Bandicoot, but that wasn't even the same team. So I was like, well, I don't really know. I know Grand Theft Auto is tried and that's true. That's what I'm anticipating. That's what I ended up buying. And if let's put it this way. If I were to go back in time and play Last of Us when it first dropped, oh boy, I'd be like, I'd be Jack Moo Johnny on steroids. I'd be a PlayStation fan through and through, dog. Like, I don't think there'd be nothing to get me off the joint at that point because that game was so important. That game is so lit. And like I said, I didn't play it back then, but I played Grand Theft Auto 5. But if I had to pick PS3, and LA Noire was over there too. The hell? They don't do that. I done got PTSD behind that sound. Don't do that. Don't you dare. I don't know why I was about to look like somebody was behind me. What the fuck is wrong with me, dog? Man.
I had to hit you with that Last of Us.
Oh my God. Please don't. I done had enough. I done got Joel's face. I done got Joel's brains bashed. I done got his face bit off. Oh God. Don't do that shit.
Brought back some memory.
Oh my God. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Oh my God. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Oh man. I like
Flames,
to bust out the soundboard.
Yeah.
I like to bust out the soundboard just randomly. Just to scare some people.
All right. I'm about to say, what? Man, Abby with the 9-iron. Don't do that to me. I'm not ready. Not ready. I swear to God. Damn.
You done lost track and everything. Go.
All right. I like that.
But you said the PS3 Last of Us, if you would have played that would have been the game for you. But instead you chose the first iteration of GTA 5.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah, I chose GTA 5. That's tried and that's true, man. So, hey, that was just. I mean, and, here's the thing. I didn't know any better. And then, like, another reason I kind of got into the community in general, like when I found BG and Black Bond and a ton of them, it was because I didn't really know. First of all, I didn't really know why people was talking about games like that. I had zero clue. I didn't know, right? So I typed it. God, I might catch heat for telling this. I told this on Press Start, but I'll tell y'all again. I said, yo, I typed in black YouTuber. First 2 YouTubers that came up, Dr. Trey, Black Cloud. And what came up, right? So, because I didn't know, because I was like, well, let's see if our people talk. And our people talked about it. And you know, back in the day, YouTube used to have a what's some things? YouTube used to have a like when you clicked on one person channel, it would have like a recommended.
Right.
So like when you clicked on like Dr. Trey, you would see a Black Bond and you see BG or, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of how I found like a lot of those different people in the community too. So it was just the thing. It was the thing. Chase Money, 3MG, as far as like the streamers go, they really be doing their thing out here. And I'm happy, I know them brothers. And shout out to Addict for that. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have been on the same show with them with that Activision deal over there LP if it wasn't for Addict. And I'm gonna take some time to congratulate that man again. And I'm sure you're listening, but I'm gonna take some time to congratulate him again, or thank him again, because like I feel like a lot of them opportunities, like a lot of these opportunities, like you didn't find me until you saw me at ILP. Like that's thanks to him.
I think it was the Activision thing, actually.
Yep. And I was, about quiet as a church on Tuesday because I saw, I was in the room with.
You were quiet on there. You were extremely quiet. That like most
I was
of
chilling. I was chilling, like because you know what it is.
Setup too, I believe. It didn't look the same.
I was in my bedroom at the time, I do believe, but it was one of those things when and I don't think Moriarty he know, but like Colin was there and the whole law was there, and when I didn't know. Oh, let's let you behind the scenes a little bit. I know they was gonna be on that joint. So I'm chilling. Cause I was just filling in for real. So Attic was like, yo, no hustle, come on. So I'm chilling. And I just see him pop up. I said, and you see me say, oh shit. I said, oh, okay. So I sat back and I said, no. I said, I'm chill. And I remember at the end of that episode, I'm not sure if you're a fan of the Everyday Struggle, but that was my Young Jeezy moment. Like when you see that many people, like 3MG, Chase Money, and you see Colin, like you see a ton of people like who you got reverence for, right? Ton of people who you got respect for, and ton of people who you don't know, but they really spitting their isms like that. It's like sometimes I'm like the new kid on that block.
Yeah, you get the feeling that you need to fall back a little bit.
Sometimes you got to sit up because the game is free, and the game ain't free. The game is to be sold, not to be told. But I feel like I got a lot of free game in that exchange. So I'm like, let me chill. It wasn't like I didn't have like much to say. It was just, hey, I kind of knew like. I was just there and I can kind of get my stuff off whenever. And you even saw me stay till the end too. So it wasn't like I wasn't necessarily in a rush to leave, but it was like, yo, let them legends do that. Cause they really earned that. And I'm not saying that I didn't earn it, but I ain't put the work in that they put in. And I really want to hear, like, I'm a fan first. Like that's another thing too. Like people don't know, like I'm a fan of this first. I'm a fan of what we do first. Like, and the people, people, if they cool, they cool. And I hope they are, but I'm a fan of what we do first. I really take our opinion like way more serious because, I mean, look, let's be real. Like if you get caught out lying on some BS, you're going to get called out for it. So a lot of us don't do that. So a lot of us typically, we don't got a lot of kick it. You understand what I'm saying? We've seen people in the industry, I'm not going to mention no names because I don't want this to turn into that, who may have spoken about things, right? And been 100% wrong. I'll just leave it at that. And I want to be respectful as possible. So we've seen stuff like that before, and it's like
we just seen things within the last week about the whole God of War thing. A lot of people were wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong about that, but I mean, I really wanted that to happen. But
I think a lot of people wanted that to happen.
Yeah, I got a theory on that too. I think they shout out to Jack Move because he kind of mentioned we echo the same sentiments on this, but pretty much was like, yo, I think they just put out a fake thing just to see who is doing what. Like this thing now, we're gonna see if we can catch who. We're gonna see if we can throw this video up, and we're gonna see how you getting this information because there's somebody on the inside who's doing that. It's like that's not even a thing. Like I feel like it's somebody close to them doing that. Maybe it might be a rollout. Who knows? But I think it's somebody affiliated with like, and I'm talking about what's homeboy name? The Insider. What's his name? You know what's his name?
Oh, the
snitch. The snitch.
Snitch. Thank you.
Thank you. I think they're trying to flush homeboy or homegirl out, whoever it is. I think they try to flush him out to be like, yo, let's just throw up this red herring. Let's just throw up this dummy bait right quick to see if they do what they do. And Corey Barlog was like, yep, gotcha, bitch. Hook, line, and sinker. So like they probably wasn't ready to show nothing. Like they probably won't show nothing probably till I figure August or something, and then we get a release date. But I feel like they did that just to do that. That's just my personal thoughts and opinions on that. Because Homeboy been picking up steam, and he been right about like I think 10 out of the like 11 things he said or something. He got crazy numbers right now. That's all I'm saying. He just got crazy numbers. So I think they try and like flush him out. I think they try to figure out who doing what over there. Yep.
I wouldn't doubt it because I assume these companies don't really like leaks at all without it being purposeful. They don't want some random person knowing everything from everybody. So probably, I mean, it could possibly be that these companies get together at some point and say, hey, we're gonna try to flush this fool out because he's like airing all of our business out. So you put a little something out, Microsoft, and you put out a little something, Sony and Nintendo, and then we're gonna flush them out real quick, get them up out of here, and then we'll come out and show people what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna see what's what. Because the last thing that God of War Ragnarok needs right now is the Last of Us 2 situation. Like that when that leaked. First of all, when Last of Us 2 leaked, that was like the first time I think we ever seen something of that magnitude. It was it was everywhere, regardless of how the footage looked. That joint was everywhere, and it was really nothing that they could do about it because it was a person who had the alpha. Like it was just one of them things. It was like, how do you stop that? And I think dude or chick, whoever, was in Brazil. They was like one of their testers or something. And it was just, here it go. It's just a thing. But I don't know. They got to figure out like preventative measures. And hey, I mean, I don't know. It just is what it is.
Yeah, it kind of is.
What you do?
I mean, once you stop one person, the next person comes.
Yeah, I know. They like roaches. All right, shit.
Oh man. All right. Well, we hit that one. So throw out a memorable moment throughout all of your gaming experiences. So this could be, an event you went to, if you went to one, or a time that you had with the family gaming, or a Twitter interaction, or YouTube interaction, or episode, or something like that. Let me know something that means a lot to you and kind of pushed you forward within content creation and stuff.
All right, so I'm not going to mention the Super Mario RPG moment because I spoke about that earlier, and I kind of speak about that moment ad nauseum. So I do want to because there are a ton of different moments that kind of got me around, but I would say Gears 5 with the troubleshooters. That was probably I met some of my best friends behind that. Matter of fact, I met 6 people who I got love for, and truly respect behind that moment playing that multiplayer. And I didn't play Gears up until then either. I tried to play it on Gears 4, but it kept crashing on PC. And I wasn't no Gears cat. So it was just one of those things. But I feel like that moment, it was it must have been in January or something. And I remember, I think I took off for work. And I think Erica might have been streaming. And because I remember I played with a lot of people. I played with Kid Smooth that night. I played with a few of the troubleshooters. I was playing with a gang of people that night. But just a lot of those moments in Gears to me stuck. And when I first started streaming, that was the game that I was streaming. I would only stream the multiplayer and, have fun, go nuts, whatever, right? That is one of the moments that's going to always stick out to me. But on the solo tip, on that personal tip, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that Last of Us, man. That Last of Us Part 1, I remember streaming that, and shout out to her. Red Infamy had followed me right before I broke down crying on stream like a big old baby, dog. Right before that Sam and Henry scene. I remember that because I remember that, and I was
broke down crying on stream, bro.
Yeah, I definitely did. It'll go back up. It was on Twitch at that time, and it's not on YouTube. But I got the files and everything. That's why you've been seeing me upload the. If you go to my channel, you've been seeing me upload the Last of Us Part 1. I got all the footage, so I'm gonna upload them over time and everything. And I'm gonna try to time it with the release of Last of Us Part 1, the remake. But I got it. That was one of them pivotal moments for me. First of all, it showed me that I didn't have a problem being myself. And I had zero problem being, I would say who I am, but I had zero problem bearing my emotion like that.
Expressing it with
expressing
everybody.
it. Yep. And with people watching, man, I think I might have had 30 people in the joint or whatever. 20 people, whatever. I didn't have no problem doing that. And you gotta pardon me, I'm waiting on text from my manager about my time and stuff. That's why I'm looking at my phone. You gotta understand, I'm super shy. Well, at least I was, and I was closed off and I was reserved. That's the type of individual I am for real. Mm-hmm. So for me to, first of all, do that, and then do that in a community the way it might be used against you later. You say I don't care? You say that shouldn't never bother me? I don't got a problem with wearing my heart on my sleeve. I don't got a problem doing all that. So for me to show that emotion, I think right then was the biggest, it's my biggest moment, streaming. Like I said, had I known, I would have highlighted the stream and did all that, but it was just one of them things. It's just one of those things the way I can be at a super high moment, and I can really show people, my side,
you can
the side that my family see. I can
unconditionally honest.
Yeah, and I didn't feel, what's the word? I didn't feel like a way. I didn't feel like a way even after that. I was talking to shout out to Audible, that's my boy. We was talking after that. about what happened. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm cool." You know, I said everything was cool. So we was laughing and joking about it after, but it was like I felt like that was like my moment of like clarity. I feel like all content creators had that moment of like, all right, not only can you do this, but you can do this too, and not only can you be comfortable enough to be who you are, but people gonna fuck with you for that too. So yeah, but that was a lot. That's probably one of my realest moments, and I had reposted it on like one of my top gaming moments and all that. That was a big deal for me. Like even going back to get that footage, so I clipped it out and I put it up on my channel. Even going back to get it, I was like, damn, I really did that, and I don't feel a way about it. Like I don't feel like bad about it or nothing. So it's one of those things, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna revert back to the chat because they had some stuff to say. But one question that I got from Stankma earlier that I forgot to ask you is he was wondering what that arcade system is that's behind you playing.
Marvel Superheroes is the first one. Bang bang, I bought that one, and this one, I don't know if you can see it. The Galaga joint, that's my pops. The Pac-Man joint, that's my dad. He bought that one.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna get one more. I'm gonna get the Marvel Superheroes collection, the Versus collection. With I think I got this one on it, but it got Street Fighter versus X-Men, Marvel versus Capcom 1. I got that on PS3, and what's the other one? It's like 3 different games on it, but I'm getting that one the second they become available. And I want the stand-up arcade, not the head versus head arcade. I'm really just waiting on it. And then I think I think Arcade One Up stopped making it. I'm really just waiting on it though.
Okay. Well, there you go, Stankma. There's the answer to your question. I know it took a long time for me to get back to it. I literally forgot about it and then circled back to looking at the chat, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to ask that question for him.
It's all good. Before you get to your next question, talk to the chat right quick. I'm gonna sound like an old man. I take melatonin to help me get to sleep. So I'm gonna pop one of those right quick. I'll be right back. I promise. I'll be right back.
No. You good. So yeah.
Oh, what's up?
No. You're good. Do what you gotta do. You're fine.
All right, cool. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. Oh man. So what I'm going to have to ask him when he gets back is what all retro consoles that he has. I think he said earlier, but I kind of want to go through the list so I can kind of compare and contrast some things with him. I want to see if he has like Marvel versus Capcom 2 and stuff like that for the Sega Dreamcast. That was a pretty wild game that was really big to me, at least back in the day. But I'm gonna continue with this chat a little bit first. So Flames are founder earlier said that he said he remembers that moment of you breaking down a little bit on stream.
Yeah, and I want to shout out Flames. He's a contributor over there at lv1gaming.com. Shout out to Level 1 too. Flames have been with me since I played. What game was that? I got rated by Jack Move Johnny, and I was playing Uncharted I'm looking at the chat instead of looking at the camera. I was playing Lost Legacy on PS4. He ain't been with me ever since, man. That's literally through damn near the beginning. So like, I respect that man. He doing a lot. And if you want to interview somebody too, you make sure you look up Flames, man. He's doing this thing out here. You know, he might be he's a silent assassin, as I like to call him, but he really doing this thing out here. That's my boy right there, man.
I'll make sure I'm gonna put him on the list. I love recommendations from people. I love recommendations. So if you got a few. Yeah. Let's talk about that after the show is over. All right, because I love recommendations to people. That's where I usually get some of my best interviews with people, because I feel like the people that I invite, like I already know a little bit about, can already kind of tell a little bit of what direction they're going to go, even though I know you, there's still a ton for me to get to know. Right. But there's something special about when the camera turns on and I'm like, who the fuck is this? and like, we just get to chatting, and then we end up finding that we have a lot in common and a lot not in common. And to me, that's really exciting. It's one of my more nerve-wracking interviews because I don't know anything about him, but it's also exciting for the same exact reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Right.
But continuing down the chat, I think Stank Moss said Gears made him extremely sad. And And I could totally see that. I could see why, because that game takes you for a ride. Let's see. Matt Likes Games said, bro, that Sam and Henry scene was rough.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it ain't really no nice way to even put that. That hurt. And that, you know what? And I'll say this before we move on. I don't understand why most of the journalists don't mention that, because they always mention the scene between Joel and his daughter, how she gets shot in the beginning and everything. I don't know how because he didn't have to kill his daughter. If he had to kill his daughter, that's one thing. I hope he had to kill his little brother. And then he killed himself. Like, couldn't live with himself. I understand what type of torture that would have been. That's why. So when I played that for the first time, I was like, "Yo, why do people keep bringing up? Y'all don't even know Sarah. Sarah didn't make a harder impact than Sam. Like, we're gonna be real. We gotta be real about that situation. She was on screen for all but what, 20 minutes,
10 minutes
at that, maybe.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. It was really sad because that's who you play with at the beginning of the game. That's, you turn it on and you're her walking around the house figuring out what the hell's going on. But that moment with Sam, it kind of reminded me a lot of that moment in The Walking Dead, where a similar thing happened, except he didn't kill himself. He ended up living with it and it tore him apart. I'm not sure if you're familiar with The Walking Dead at all.
I'm familiar. I never watched it though.
It was the black dude with the stick. There's this black dude with the stick that ended up having to kill like his son or something like that because he ended up turning into a walker because he got bit, and he was trying to find the cure for him and whatnot, and they ended up not finding the cure, and he ended up having to kill his own son or something like that. And or maybe it was his because they were trying to find the cure to cure his wife, because they could see his wife from their household as a walker. So they were looking to try to get a cure to cure the wife, but then the son or something like that ended up getting bit, and he ended up having to kill his son and his wife.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay. All right. Listen.
So like
don't make me say it before I go to bed. Now I don't want to live with that. I don't want to sleep with that.
Yeah. See, Matt Likes Game remembers. He said, "Oh yeah, Morgan. Yeah, man, that shit was rough." So that scene with Sam just brought me back to Walking Dead when I seen that, and that was fucked up. Like that scene was bad. But yeah, man, let's move on to something else.
Yeah.
This is getting real sad. But all right, so I have this little game I like to play with those people that have like retro consoles and stuff like that. And I want you to first tell me a list of the retro consoles that you got.
Oh, okay. So PS3, I don't know if we consider that retro, right?
Yeah. Anything before the last generation to me is now pretty much retro.
All right, cool. So I got two PS3s, as a matter of fact, one back and pat, and then one of these, and I had the slim model. I got a Nintendo Wii that's back and pat with the GameCube. Had to get that. I got an Xbox. I have not a Super Nintendo. I got something called a Super Analog NT. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Say the Famicom, but I don't know what the hell that is.
Nah, it's a thing that it'll play all of your it'll play your Super Famicom and Super Nintendo games, and even like the Super FX Pack Pro. It pretty much plays all the consoles. It's made by Analog.
So it's like a third party machine that will play the old games. Got it.
Yep, that'll play all the old OG games. Kev Triss Horton, he kind of like reverse engineered. He reverse engineered the Super Nintendo. He reverse engineered the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis as well. John Lennon, who you had on, like, he did a video on it. Like, it's a super good video about the Super Analog NT. It's a real super good video. I got that. Is that all I got? Hold on. Oh, Nintendo 64. I knew it was one I'm missing. I got Nintendo 64 as well. And right now, that's the last that that's all the consoles I got.
Okay. And is that list grown?
Nah, you know what?
You're about done.
I'll say about done. If there is one more thing that I'll get a Dreamcast, because I used to have a Dreamcast as well. I'll get that.
The last
Above
system
all
to
else.
have one analog stick.
Yeah, I know. Well, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy one, probably refurbished joint. I'm gonna get the CD changes snatched out, had an SD card put in. I forget what they call it, but there's a way that you can just have like the games on an SD card, and you pardon me, you just stick it in, because those CD drives, them joints down, you kind of quit, and that was like a widespread thing. But that'll be the last one. That Sega Saturn, I don't got no memories with, so ain't no need for me to get that. But figure if I do get one more, it'll be a modded Dreamcast with HDMI out and the whole nine. It'll be like a whole modded thing.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I thought maybe you might have the Dreamcast. I was gonna see if you had Marvel versus Capcom 2.
So nah, but I do have that on emulation. My brother has. I don't know if it's in this closet. It might be because my brother, he just moved out, and congratulations to my big brother. He moved into his first home. He may have it in the closet at his crib, but he ended up buying it. And this was, Dreamcast was here today, gone tomorrow. Like, it was only around for like a year, and then it was like heavily discounted. He bought it for like $50, and it was, he bought that joint because they bought it used, and they bought it used for like next to nothing, and it was a thing. They bought that joint, and
That's like triple the price now.
Who'd you tell her? And had I known this was gonna happen, well, I probably would have lost it by now. But had I known this was gonna happen, I would have bought one for myself too. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom, we had that too. That disc was heavily kind of like scratched up, and it was, it worked when it needed to though. It came in clutch when it needed to. It was just one of those things, and that's the game that I played in the arcade. That when I got it home, I felt no difference. You understand? Like, it was, and I didn't know they used the same hardware from like that Naomi board. I didn't know they used like a lot of the similar hardware for it. That's why it plays so perfect. That Capcom versus SNK, which I love that game, by the way. I love that game. I wasn't too good at it, but I loved how mature Capcom versus SNK was. But Marvel versus Capcom 1, I liked it. Like, and I got that game on PS3. Like, when, I don't know if you know, but you can't buy that game anymore. As of right now, you can't buy it anymore. Outside of like the arcade 1-up, they will not, like, because due to licensing, they can't let you buy it no more on PS3. Which is a shame. By the way, because well, first of all, they want too much for that disc. First and foremost, they want way too much for that. Second of all, like, we talking about preservation. Like, if you feel how I feel, like, you know how important all of this is. You know how important to have all of this in the next 20 years. It's cool to have remakes and stuff, but the remakes, Grand Theft Auto the Definitive Edition, plays different, way different from this. Like, you understand? Like, so it's a thing, and it's really needed. But that Marvel vs. Capcom 1, man, and I gush thinking about it, because that was the first. I didn't know what an Onslaught was. I thought that was just a character made for the game. Apparently, Onslaught was in the comics with Charles Xavier and Magneto, how they combine and etc. Right? How you get it there? I thought it was just a thing. No, apparently I looked it up on YouTube. Apparently, it's a whole like arc. It's the Onslaught arc. It's like a 600-page book and all that. That's a whole thing. And I didn't know that.
Characters in the game.
Man, let's see. I mean, the quick answer, right, was Ryu, because he could turn into Ken and Akuma. And could he turn into Sean too? Am I wrong? I think he could turn into Sean too. But the quick answer will be Ryu. But Spider-Man, who's my favorite Marvel character, period, and Wolverine, like them the two who always like really went with. But Ryu, like in terms of like Street Fighter, Ryu was always that one. And I think that's, Zangief was kind of underrated. I feel like he was underrated because you can turn him into steel and all that. You can turn him into steel, and he was like a tank and all that. I love like the crossover moves, even though I wasn't too good at doing them. But the second I could pull it off, I had you get infinite time and everything, and you get that was a thing. That was like a real thing. But now I always had fun with the characters who I'm most comfortable with, and I'll probably do it as a playthrough or something. But it was always Ryu. It was always Spider-Man, and it was always Wolverine, man. Gambit. I feel like Gambit was kind of slept on. Morgan, I think Morgan was in that game as well. I didn't know much about Darkstalkers. Oh wait, real quick about Darkstalkers. If y'all never played Darkstalkers like me, get the Marvel what's that, the Ultimate Fighting Collection, whatever the new one was that just came out on the 24th. Because they got like 5 Darkstalker games, and one of them Darkstalker games wasn't released over here. It was only in Japan. It's important that we buy that so we can get a new Darkstalkers game. Because if you're in the fighting community, you ain't really seen a Darkstalkers game since the Pope died. So like that's important that we kind of support that. Just let Capcom know. And wait, now I want to make sure I get back to the question, but like no, it's important because that game had Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Collection Edition on there, where you could pick Ryu and Guile from any of the different Street Fighter games, from Hyper Fighting, the 2 Turbo, the 1. Like that's super dope, and you could put them against each other too. You can play online, and you can put them against each other. So like any version of whatever character you want. So like, and it's broken as it is. It sounds like fun. So I'm gonna try to pick that up. I'm gonna try to pick it up next week. But okay. No. But to answer your question though, is Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's always gonna be my favorite, and Wolverine, because Wolverine back then was like super OP. When he got the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, they nerfed the shit out of him, dog. I remember that. I remember it because they had two versions of Wolverine. They had Bone Claw Wolverine, then they had the OG Wolverine, and they nerfed them. They nerfed them bad. They said, "Now we got to calm you down a little bit."
All right, so my favorites from the Marvel vs. Capcom games is probably Dr. Doom. That was the dude with like the green hood, right?
Yep.
Then Juggernaut. I really enjoyed Juggernaut. Cyclops was super dope, especially when you did a special. It looked like a big old Kamehameha wave. And there was one other person Colossus.
Oh, okay, all right. So you were what's the word? Like, for the most part, like super heavyweights. I guess maybe that's.
I like the heavy fighters. I did just because they took up a lot of ground.
Yep.
They took up a lot of ground with their fights. So I really like them because once you got somebody in a corner with one of those, it was hard to get them up out of the corner.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Well, we're getting down to some of our last few questions, so let's go on ahead and touch up on those. So, the best 3 games of the last year that you've played.
All right, Shredder's Revenge of the last year?
Yeah, so like from this time to last year.
From this time. Okay, all right, I just want to make sure I understand that. Shredder's Revenge, absolutely, like 1,000%. Point blank, period. The best Turtles beat 'em up, period. That ain't really up for debate neither. That ain't really up for debate because they found that balance, right, between a good beat 'em up. They found that balance to make it accessible for other people. This was Turtles in Time Part 2 for me, and that was it. That was it. That was something I was looking forward to, and it lived up to the hype. Let's see, what did I play between now and then? Let's see. I played Returnal. I ain't really like that one too much.
Well, then why are you listening?
It's Returnal? It's
why you even mention it if it ain't even?
Nah, because I'm gonna figure out what I played over the last year. See,
you speaking out loud. I got you. You speaking.
Yeah. I'm trying to walk myself through it.
Or thinking out loud.
Yeah, I am. I want to say Spider-Man Miles Morales for sure. Like for sure. I want to put that there, but I want to make sure it lines up with when it came out. That's why I was thinking out loud. Like, what did I play? Let's see. I'm gonna mention that. I'm gonna mention that game anyway. And I might catch a little heat for it, but you know what? You know what game is super dope? And I feel like it didn't really get the shine that it should have gotten. Because it got a little shine in the beginning. Astro's Playroom.
Okay.
I know. Yeah. Like it's good. It's really good. Like it is the perfect.
It's the best haptic feedback game that's out right now.
It's one of those games that, like, if you don't know anything about PlayStation, or if you miss pivotal moments, I miss pivotal moments in PlayStation's history.
Right.
Play that game. Play that game. Outside of like the little monkey climbing on or ape or whatever, climbing up with that's the only part of that game I didn't like in the GPU island. But outside of that, everything else was hitting for me. Everything else for me was like super hidden. And if you don't know anything about PlayStation's history, find everything in that game. You'll enjoy. It's like 5 hours. You'll enjoy that game. You'll like really enjoy it. If you don't know the history and you want to get to know the history, I say you start there. It's the perfect love letter to PlayStation. And I really should have did a video. I should have did a video on it. It's like, see, I regret not doing a video on that. Let's see. I just want to throw some other games in there since I got the 3 out the way. Streets of Rage 4, I'm halfway through that. Like Streets of Rage 4 for me was, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Shout out to Lizard Cube and God Crush for that. It's super cool. I done played and beat. See, cause I'll play older games. That's why it was so hard for me to answer that question too. But you know, like games like The Last of Us, they're always gonna be stuck around. Like Uncharted 2. I think I played Uncharted 2 for the first time. So if I had to move one game out there and put Uncharted 2 there, that's my favorite game of all time. Yeah, you know what? Let me move Astro's Playroom on. We put Uncharted 2 there. Because I played that game for the first time in 2022, and I streamed that on my channel too. So that game, regardless of on the collection. Do I have it over here? I don't got it over here. But it's on the Uncharted collection. That game in particular, that's another game. If I would have played it in, I think 2009 when it came out, I'd have been a PlayStation fan for life, because that's another one of them games that was, I don't want to say it was ahead of its time, but like it had a really good story on it. It's lighthearted enough for me to get through without me breaking down crying like a big old baby and whatnot. So, nah, it's just one of those games. That's one of those, like, I feel like it's a landmark moment when you fight the boss fight against get the grenade launcher, you go up against the helicopter. It's a landmark moment when the building, you and Chloe are there, and that building is falling down, and you got to fight your way through a building that's falling down. That's Action Man. I call Nathan Drake Action Man, dog. Like, it's just one of those moments. It's one of those moments when you know, when Harry shoots you, you know what I mean? And, you know, Chloe does what she does, but when you get shot and you're left for dead, and then you got to climb up the train and all that, it's just one of those moments. It's one of the moments for me. So like, I'm like, well, damn.
You had to climb that damn train twice.
Yeah, you did. Yep, you had to climb it in the beginning. You had to, you know what I mean? And too bad you couldn't go back and get like the treasures if you missed them, which was, that didn't make no sense to me, because they had those flash forwards and everything. They didn't make no sense to me. But like that's like one of the moments. Like I said, if I was really playing PlayStation like that back then, and I knew, like, if I knew what I knew now back then, then I'd have been a PlayStation fan forever. Like, I feel like nothing Microsoft could put out at that point, like even at the Uncharted point before The Last of Us, would be like touching that. And I ain't trying to make it a console war thing. I'm just saying in terms of like actual narrative, story, gameplay, what have you, that to me was on. That's another one. Like you saw Naughty Dog coming to their own at that point. You saw them take the first one and not only refine it, but they made one of their most popular games of all time. Probably one of their best games of all time, in my humble opinion. So and I know you're playing Uncharted 4 right now, right? I think you're almost at the end, right?
Yeah. So I'm getting pretty close to the end. I finished 1, 2, 3, and I'm right at 4 right now, and then I'm going to Lost Legacy after that. I'm probably not going to be able to play the Vita version because I don't have a Vita. Right.
I hate, real quick, I hate when they do shit like that, because Kingdom Hearts did that too, when they put games on different platforms. I hated that. No. Uncharted 3. I want to. Hey, you got it.
And she's fine.
I can't. No. I was clapping, just giving you a round of applause. I can't get through Uncharted 3, dog. I can't under no certain. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just something about that joint that falls flat.
I'll cook it when I'm done. Yeah, go ahead.
No. It's just one of those things. I couldn't get through it. I just couldn't get through it. And my fault. I'm laughing with you because that's.
I know she goofy.
Yeah, she be chilling. That's what's up. But no. But it's one of those things to where it's harder for me to get through. Like, and I like Uncharted. I love the series. As a matter of fact, it's just Uncharted 3. And I don't know if you're familiar, but shout out to Mr. Midas Gamer. He's one of the ones like, yo, hustle. You just keep going. I just can't do it. Lost Legacy, cool. In fact, great. I'll be honest with you. Uncharted 2, go. Like, I feel like Lost Legacy, is one of the ones. Lost Legacy got me started with that series, by the way.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's what got,
really?
Yeah.
So you started backward.
At the end.
So you started at the very end.
Yep,
and then
sure did.
Worked your way back now.
Yep. And it was.
So did you play Lost Legacy in the form that it's in now, or did you play it in the previous form?
Nah, I played it on a PS4 when it was on PS4 Pro and all that. I played that version of it.
Man,
I
if you
still got it around somewhere.
If you have a way to upgrade it for $10 or whatever, I highly recommend it. It looks insane.
No, I got it in here. I got that version of it. I posted it on Twitter too, but I bought that version of it when it came out, and when it dropped on PC, I got the, I got to put it on PC, bro. I just got to do it. I just have to. I'm a PC cat. And real quick, shout out to Audible in the chat. That's my brother. That's one of my troubleshooting brothers right there. He think I be ignoring him and all that. And I got love for you, brother. You know that. But that's my guy right there. He's another person who's extremely interesting, extremely creative. He one of them guys. But no. But I wanted to answer that question and I hope I answered that question without rambling too much. My fault, man.
No, actually, in the chat, Stankma put up, after Uncharted 4, I was burnt out, didn't even bother with Lost Legacy. I can see what he means with that.
Pick it up.
Because Uncharted 4, it's a fantastic game, but it's starting to get to the point where it's kind of dragging a little bit. And the problem with it is, not only do I feel like it's dragging a little bit, but your character Nathan Drake is like, bro, this is dragging. He says it in the game. He's like, dude, this is dragging. When's this over?
he was about ready to go. He was about ready to retire. But let me tell you this. Pick up Lost Legacy. Whatever problems,
I already got it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and it's to you and everybody in the chat. Whatever problems 4 may have, I guarantee you Lost Legacy fixes those problems. It's not even that long. It's like Spider-Man Miles Morales in terms of length. It ain't gonna take you that long. It didn't take me that long to beat the joint or whatever, but it fixes those problems, it remedies those problems. And honestly, I want Chloe, Nadine, and Sam to get their own sequel. Like, they got to get one sequel before they hand it off to Nathan's daughter, in my opinion.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I still gotta play it so to see what you're even talking about. But,
you'll enjoy it.
But now that we're moving on to the next little piece, I just want to know, of all the games that you play, because you obviously had a long history with gaming and whatnot, I just kind of want to know what 2 games you would bring back to get like AAA quality, really high top tier, Bethesda, Naughty Dog kind of stuff. Like, what would you want to bring back?
Okay, so I'm not going to mention The Last of Us.
And time out. Who do you want to bring back? 2 games, and who would you give them to do it? I'm gonna make that question harder.
Okay, well, let me answer the latter first. If I had one studio to make a game, it would be Naughty Dog, and I would have them make is it a remake that they will make? Or is there anything? Because
I would say a remake, just for the fact that it's so old, you could reboot it off of a remake.
Oh, but this is easy there. Naughty Dog and Metroid Prime. Point blank period. Like, if you
in the Nintendo game?
Yep. And then you hold on, here's the thing. And you let Nintendo, as long as Nintendo let Naughty Dog do what Naughty Dog do. Like, can you imagine? Like, regardless of graphical fidelity, because you're not Nintendo to get down or whatever, but let's say it's on PC. Can you imagine what Naughty Dog would do with Samus Aran, the character Samus Aran? That's what I would like to see. Now, I want you to repeat the first part of your question so I can make sure I answer that portion of it. Because, but that second part, Naughty Dog all day long. Naughty Dog, Metroid. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Metroid. It's just not it ain't never really been my thing. And I feel like if there's one studio that's gonna get me to lean over there, it'll be Naughty Dog for that, because I know what they'll be able to do with that character. For me, I know what they'll be able to do with the character Samus Aran for me. She has so much more depth at that point.
Okay, and then what's the second one?
Oh, I get 2. Let's see. Since I get 2 games, and we kind of was talking about it earlier. For me, right? I mean, I'm not really sure who would make it, but Def Jam Fight for New York. I would have easily said, listen, I would have easily said No Mercy, but they're mods out of that. I don't know if it's mods out of I don't know if it's mods out of Fight for New York just yet. Excuse me, but I'll say Fight for New York because, well, first of all, the soundtrack is the soundtrack. That's one of that's one of the earlier games. It's cool. That's one of the earlier games that had like facial expressions. I felt like that was a game that one of the reasons why you owned a PS2. I feel like that was one of them games, but it is what it is. Like, I feel like, and as far as who would make it, you might have to help me out on that, because as far as who would make it, I'm not really sure, right? Because the Aki Corporation, I felt like in terms of beat 'em ups, or felt like in terms of wrestling games, in my opinion, nothing came close to this at all. There's No Mercy. I feel like nothing.
SmackDown, Just Bring It or nothing.
Not in my opinion. Not SmackDown versus Raw neither. Like I know Ukes, they've been doing their thing or whatever, and they got the AEW game coming out too that we kind of need to be on the lookout for, because that comes out later this year. I'm a little concerned about that game, and I got a video up on that. I still feel like ain't nobody really coming close to that. Now I could be wrong with the AEW game, right? Now, and if that is the case, then all right, we hand it off to Ukes because THQ is no more. Then I say we hand it off to Ukes, but I think you would have to rework Def Jam Fight for New York, because I want like up to date graphics. I want The Last of Us Part 1 remake graphics in terms of.
So you don't want them oversized and crazy buff? I
mean, look, I just wanted to look realistic, like because
I'd almost say the Coalition.
You know what? Oh no, we pay the Coalition respect around here. Like I love what they did with Gears 5. They the masters of UE5.
Thick ass characters.
Yeah, no, they do their thing. I don't know if you played it. Did you play oh my god, the DLC, Half Busters? You play Half Busters?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's to me that's the best part of 5. That's the best part of 5. Man, I forget his name off the top of my head, but I was all in for that bald bro.
You talking about Keegan?
Yes,
Keenan.
Thank you.
Keegan or Keenan?
I remember he kind of had, no disrespect, but like a very unisex
he was looking
name.
Crazy. Oh, you talking about his name? Nah, I think because he was looking crazy. Like how they made that man bald. And then they did him dirty. They could at least gave my man some hair or something, but they did him dirty. But no. I played Lonnie was my character who I played. Lil Mac, I called him Lil Mac. Mac was I remember Erica played as Mac, and I remember Merc played as Kanan. And that playthrough's up on my channel as well. That game is so much fun. That DLC is lit, and they remedied the problem they faced with Gears 5, because with Gears 5, you can have 3 players play, but somebody had to play as Jack, which was a little robot. Anybody want to do all that? So it was one of those things that they fixed, and I'm with that they fixed it, but they need to get back to 4-player co-op, like point blank period. Because they used to be like that because I remember, because Erica broke it down for me. It used to be 4-player co-op at one point, and then they went to 3, and they shouldn't have went to 3, but that's just what it is, like that game. But the Coalition, man. Yeah, the Coalition, they do their thing. They had Microsoft on their backlash generation too. They really had Xbox. Yeah, they had them. And they was doing their thing. But
they're one of the few devs that kept the doors open.
Mm-hmm. Kept them lights on too.
Yeah, kept them lights on for real. All right, so now on to my question that I kind of ask everybody. That's sometimes awkward, but what would be like the most frustrating part of gaming to you personally?
I got 2 answers to that. Retro gaming, the prices for a lot of retro games are insane, as you may or may not know. The most frustrating part about current day gaming, man, I don't know, the DLC. In terms of everything is not there. Everything is not there day one, right? Games are broken pretty much day one. You gotta wait for a day one patch to fix some of the issues, not all of them. We brought it up earlier. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. If you play that on Xbox, I think it's Xbox, right? It was Xbox for me. If you played that, and even like the PC version, or PS2 version, whatever, Dreamcast version, you had to play the game to unlock everything.
Mm-hmm.
Unlock fighters, you had to play the game.
For me.
Yep. So like to play the game, you had to unlock the fighters. There's just, see, now we live in a day and age where people are willing to pay to have everything unlocked for them. And I hate that. Shout out to Jason Schreier, because Jason Schreier had made a comment, and I'm not shitting on him or nothing, but I'm just saying he made a comment about Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. It was like, yo, I like to pay to unlock all the characters. I'm like, nah, you gotta earn them joints, dog. And it ain't hard. Like, just play the game. I got like 10 hours in that joint, and I think I unlocked everybody.
Especially with YouTube nowadays, like you can look up how to figure something out if you really ain't got time for it anymore. Like this whole pay to get everything that you need is unnecessary, and it kind of takes the fun out of all of that.
Yep. Like I would literally, and yo, in Smash Brothers Ultimate in particular, that's one of the games the way it's like, yo, you don't even have to play the story mode to unlock everybody. You could, but I was playing 1v1s to unlock everybody. Like I would just play, and then, oh hey, you fight Bowser. Oh hey, you fight this one. Oh hey, you fight, and that was how I unlocked everybody on the joint. Like you just would play and you would go. That's probably the most frustrating thing to me. Because now we have a lot more choices. Like now we can play a game at 30 frames or fidelity mode, or we can play a game at 60 frames, or we can play a game at 120 frames, right? Like we got a performance mode now. That's why I went to PC gaming in the first place. So now like a lot of those problems are being remedied, and a lot of those games are coming to PC too. So a lot of them issues I had are just being solved. It ain't nothing crazy. It ain't nothing crazy. Like it's one of those things the way I feel like these problems are slowly but surely being fixed in one aspect, but in the other aspect is like, we're gonna charge you more money for it. And I got a point that I want to make. This more gamers now than ever. There's no way we should be having any type of there should be no way we should be having any type of like DLC in terms of like paid content like that. Unless it's in a story expansion, we shouldn't have any other type of paid content because there's more gamers now than there ever have been playing, period. Whether it's on phone, console, PC, whatever. It's more people playing the game now than there ever have been. Like this joint's super mainstream because we're around the same age. When we did it, it wasn't cool like that. It wasn't cool like that when we did it. Now it's just a thing. It's just a super big thing now.
Okay. So now to turn the question to the opposite end, I kind of want to know now what like a dream come true within gaming would be for you.
All right, the quick answer is what I just said, right? Performance is like a big issue for me. Over here to my left, I got a monitor that, PC monitor that's like HDR, 144 frames, et cetera, et cetera. Consoles can kind of hit that now, whether it's 1080p or not, it don't really matter. But consoles can kind of hit that performance level to where I can play games the way that I want to. Another thing is like a lot of those games are coming to PC, but the PS5 and Series X, right? And hell, even the Series S. Any console that allows you to play games on somewhat of a PC level, the way it's like a fighting chance, the way you can play games at a super high frame rate, for me, like that's the dream for me. I would have never built a PC had I known this was dropping the way that it dropped. You understand what I'm saying? I would have never did it. I would have saved myself however much money I spent on both these PCs. I would have saved myself the bread. But that's just one of the things. I want to see, and like, cause we had saw this too, like the Nemesis system. I think it was in, oh my God, what's the name? I got that game. This is one of the first games I got on PC because I bought it on my graphics card. It's the game that uses the Nemesis system. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. But not issues, but like improvements on AI. And that's why I'm excited to play The Last of Us Part 1. So any type of improvement on the AI, the way it's extremely smart, the way it's damn near like you playing a human and you don't got to play it on the hardest difficulty or nothing like that. That's like a dream come true to me because it'll give you a different way to play a game. We even see it in games like roguelites, like Hades and stuff like that, right? Procedurally generated. It'll be a different way each and every time you play it. If you would have told me that, in 2000, I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what you talking about? Like, yo, that's not possible for you to be able to play a game differently each and every time that you play it. Like that ain't gonna happen. But like stuff like that to me is always cool. Shadows of Mordor, thank you, Flames. I appreciate you, bro. Shadows of Mordor was the game that implemented like the Nemesis system. And I think they got to license that patent out to people. License that AI patent out to people because they made it. So if they license that out to people and it's refined by whoever, right? Let's just say it's like maxed out, any way it can be maxed out. That can mean like something completely different for gaming. Yeah. But as far as that go, like those are like some of the perfect things. I got a couple fighting games back behind me. The fighting games for me, as long as like, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you can hit whoever into an infinite and that's just what it is. You hit them into an infinite, it's broken like that. I love the fact that it's broken like that. But the fact that fighting games in particular aren't that broken anymore, it's always like a plus for me. So I enjoy the stuff like that too. So I've enjoyed games like fighting games like that to see how far that they have come. Storytelling, we hit it with Naughty Dog, hit the nail on the head. And they hit that back almost 10 years ago in my opinion, but that's just me. That's just me. But I hope that answers your question too.
No, fantastic. It really did. So a extra random question. I don't actually ask this to everybody, but I'm going to ask this to you. What's something, fun that nobody really knows about you? What sets you to be kind of who you are outside of gaming?
So I love comedy. Like I love to laugh. I gotta smile. I gotta smile to keep from crying. So I love I love comedies. Like I don't know if you heard of the movie. Well, you probably heard of it. Trading Places. Eddie Murphy. Right. My second favorite movie. Third favorite movie of all time. First favorite movie of all time. Clerks 1. A lot of people don't really know that about me, but Clerks 1 is my favorite.
Is dope. You talking about the black and white one, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, my brother put me onto that joint. Clerks 1 is my favorite movie of all time. You know what movie right behind that? Now I'll explain it. It's Friday.
Okay.
Friday.
Yeah, explain.
The reason why I love those two movies in particular so much is because a lot can happen over the course of one day. Life-changing events can happen over the course of one day. So it's more realistic in terms of, I know it's a comedy. These are comedies. A lot of that stuff that's happening on Friday, yeah, that's real life. Even the stuff that happened in Clerks was grounded in real life as well. And I felt like, not Randall, oh my God, I'm blanking on my man's name, but I felt like the main character in Clerks, I'm not even supposed to be here today. You got me at work. I'm not even supposed to be here today. And fun fact, he actually dies in the alternate version of that movie. Jay and Silent Bob are in that. Can I spoil it?
Yeah, go ahead. It's an old movie.
Jay and Silent, it came out in 94, y'all. Jay and Silent Bob in that movie. There's this drug dude, he wants some drugs. Jay was like, hey, yo, get the hell up out of here. Go get a job. Don't stop trying to bum, drugs up off us. Long story less long, at the alternate version of that scene, at the very end of it, he goes in there, he kills the main character. He goes in there, he robs the store. Yeah, and I forgot, oh my God, I'm about to Google his name because I ain't about to sit up here and be caught out like that. And I love that movie, by the way. I love that ending, by the way, but it didn't make the, it didn't make the final cut, which was, I guess that maybe they couldn't do that. Man, I got to Google that. Kevin Smith, Jeff Anderson.
Yeah, I remember because he was mad as hell when he had to work and everything.
Yes, Dante.
The video
Dante
store
is his
was
name.
Next door, wasn't that right?
Yep, that's where Randall worked. Yes, sir. Yep, that's where Randall worked. And a lot of it was is it the 7 deadly sins that they dealt with? So it was different parts of that movie that they would say, it would have a phrase, a word on a wall or something like that. But I think it had something to deal with the 7 deadly sins or something like that. But there was a lot to deal with. It was supposed to be like Dante's Circle, which is a demonic thing. That's like a Devil May Cry thing. So there was a lot with that movie. There was an indie movie too. I encourage people to go check that out. There was I think I bought the 15th anniversary or something like that. Kevin Smith pretty much went broke making that movie, and then he made it off of that movie. So that was that's something that always kind of told me yo, if you really want something, you gonna have to spend, well, maybe not a lot of money, but you are gonna have to put some type of financial backing behind it. And not only can you do it, I feel like you can make history. Because with Kevin Smith's movies, in particular, from Clerks to Chasing Amy to Mallrats and stuff like that, Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks 2, they all intertwine with each other. He got his own little universe. And I've always enjoyed that about Kevin Smith movies too. So I've always enjoyed that. Now Friday, of course, I relate to that more because hell, I've been unemployed at points. I've gotten higher points. I've even gotten shot at points. I never shot back, but I've gotten shot at. But that was just a random situation.
I've lost my job not working before. I've lost my job not. So you ain't even work today.
Did you?
Right.
Did you? They caught you on camera stealing boxes?
No,
man.
It wasn't one of those. It was one of those things where I was talking to some friends about some stuff, and I forgot to hang up the phone, kind of thing.
It's cool.
It happens.
Yeah, no, I done definitely. Definitely we've encountered the pretty young lady in the hood, and one pretty girl where you from, and that loudmouth where you from. It's just a lot. It's just a whole lot. But that movie was super dope. Another close movie, 8 Mile. Boy, I wanted to rap so bad, but no, Eminem, he's my favorite rapper. I wanted to rap so bad. I used to want to be Eminem so bad, man. You know, things hit a little different. My man said, I hate life. He said, I wake up, I'm still white, and I hate life. I'm like, yo, sir, what are you doing? Like, yo, in the words of Paul Mooney, what a you know, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna take it there. I'm not doing that. I'm definitely not gonna take it. I'm definitely not quoting. I'm not quoting Paul Mooney on this joint. They'd be like, yo, what's wrong with Hustle? Ain't nothing wrong with Hustle. I know Paul. If you know how Paul Mooney get down, you know how he get down.
Live, raw, and uncut. That's Paul Mooney.
That man was insane. May God rest his soul. But no. But those are the movies though. But a lot of times I watch like documentaries. Like Beef was like the real like hip hop documentary that I always used to watch. Anytime people made an album, I don't know if you remember when Jay-Z teamed up with Linkin Park and they had the 6-song EP and they had the DVD after that. That to me was dope. I think the Black Album had a DVD with it as well. That's how I figured out that
the Black Album, that CD was fire. That was supposed to be Jay-Z's last CD.
Yeah, it was supposed to be his last.
But we knew that wasn't going to be his last CD.
Yeah,
he was too damn young.
Yep, everybody and their mother knew. That was like the first time I saw Timbaland in the studio with Jay, and because this is how I knew beats at that point got shopped around. They played The Potion from Ludacris's album. Now Jay, he didn't like that joint, but Ludacris did what he did with it. Ludacris tore it up, and it's just like the mind of how he like made songs and stuff. Like I always like respect Jay for that, because like even if he didn't write it down and he just memorized it, even if look, here's the thing, even if somebody else wrote it for him, I don't care. He was that dope the way he can get away with all that. Yo, he also, wait, real quick, you know Jay-Z wrote Still D.R.E.?
No, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, he wrote it for Snoop and Dre. He wrote Snoop and Dre's parts. Yep, he sure did.
That's crazy.
And I knew that.
I would have been fine not knowing that, damn it.
Yeah. No, he wrote it, and it's because it came out recently, but it was heavily rumored back then. Like when I was in the music like that, I was in the music. I was trying to be like a student of the game out the joint, because you never know who would interview you. Like, and when they would interview you, like they would ask you, like, yo, what are your origins? Like, do you know about Cowboy? Do you know about Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five, et cetera, et cetera? You'll get those questions. You would definitely get those questions, regardless if you made it or you were underground. Because I used to rap too, and we used to get like questions like that, like who inspired you, et cetera, right? But it is one of those things that where like people respect you and they look at you different when you know the history of shit. It could be anything.
Yeah, it's homage. It's, you know.
Yep. It's the fact that you took the time. It's the fact that you took the time to like really want to learn gaming, music, what have you. But yeah, I hope that answers your question too. And I want to make sure I don't want to derail off of that.
No, that was really good, because I mean you taught me a whole lot about you in just a little bit. So that was pretty dope. So before I get up out of here and ask you the very last question, I'm kind of curious if you have any questions for me. Now, a question that I've been asked a ton of times is like, what made me become a content creator, or what got me into video games? So I just wanted to lay that out there, just so you don't end up making this episode very repetitive with the last.
And I can appreciate you asking me that. If you weren't doing YouTube, the current content that you were, no, I'm not gonna ask you that. No. My first question is, where do you see yourself doing what you do now? What do you see yourself, and what do you see this content taking you in the next 5 years? That's my first question.
Oh man, so I don't have all the answers for that, obviously, because I can't read the future. But like where I'd like to like be going is, ideally, I'd like to have my own platform. You know, my own like LLC, and you know, not be affiliated with anything else. But it'd be really cool to have that option to become affiliated, just so I could see how the business works on the inside. So if like I were to get hired on by like an IGN or something like that to continue to do what I'm doing, just have a lot more accessibility when it comes to reaching out to people and stuff like that. I'd love to do that, and like kind of have that kind of grittiness and realness of interviews versus, you know, you see an interview of, I think there's plenty of interviews where I feel like it's a little too PC, where you're not really getting the way the person really feels. You're just kind of getting an industry kind of protect my back kind of thing.
Yeah, they got the kick gloves on. Now I feel that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to be like that, like BT uncut version of of interviews and stuff like that. And I mean, that's why I say I'd like to do it on my own, because I don't think a place like IGN would approve of me doing things wild and a little just a little off the rails, because I appreciate people being who they are and not exactly like the suit and tie and gotta act super duper appropriate and don't cuss and all that stuff. I just want people to be people, so we can kind of figure out who each other are. And that's why I named the show Behind Them Sticks, because this is who you are behind the controller.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel that now. I appreciate that answer. I'll tell you first and foremost, man, you keep up what you got going on over here. And as far as the LLC thing, I was gonna say keep up what you got going on over here, and you're not only gonna meet those heights, you're gonna exceed those heights. And as far as the LLC thing, that's that's like what, $300 and whatever you trademark at that point. That's the easy part. That's the easy part. Coming up with something, trademarking it. That's the super easy part. We saw BG do it. And I ain't finna hold you. Now, I know we talking about me and you, but I'm proud of that man for that, because he literally showed a way on how to do that. We saw Iron Lords do it too. We saw the Iron Lords do it as well. So now the LLC part, that's the easy part. Trust me, that's the easy part. You being who you are, that's the easy part as well. And because a lot of times, like for real, all you gotta do is just be yourself. People gonna gravitate towards you anyway. So that's why I'm like, yo, not only would you get there, but you're gonna get there a lot sooner than you think. So don't just be patient, but you'll be just fine. Just be consistent, and you'll be just fine for real.
I appreciate that, bro. And do you have any other questions?
Yeah, what type of music you listen to, man?
Bruh.
This is how we kind of measure. You gotta, what's up? Let me know.
So I listen to all kind of things. So I was telling you a little bit earlier, like I was really big into like Southern rap and some West Coast stuff. Like for instance, on the Southern rap part, I was really big into like when I was younger, I was really big into like Lil Flip, DJ Screw, all those guys. Like I remember Lil Flip had a CD where it looked like he was like a Lucky Charms character.
Yes.
Or whatnot. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Where it had the Leprechaun, I think it was like Leprechaun CD or something like that. But he had the song called Trojans with My Boxers on, and I thought it was just so funny. And I thought it was just so funny because I don't know, it was just his lyrics in the song were about him, trying to get some. And I just thought it was just hilarious. I was also a big fan of like Charlie Boy. I actually did really like Mike Jones, but I liked Chameleonaire even more. And I liked Chameleonaire for like the mixtape Messiahs and stuff like that he used to put out. UGK was pretty dope with Pimp C and Bum B. I really liked SPM, South Park Mexican. Dirty, the Pimp and the Gangsta CD was super dope back in the day. I'm kind of curious, like I know Plies was like another big one that I really enjoyed, but that's a little bit newer. Let's see. I also really liked my Midwest rap though. I'm sleeping on that completely. Twista, back when he was Mr. Tongue Twister, I really liked that joint too, because
early 90s.
Oh man, he was spitting so fast that you literally had to like slow down his music just to even understand what he was saying.
He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for that too, by the way.
Yeah, for that song, right? So yeah, that was dope. I was really big into like Nelly and the Saint Lunatics. I remember when they came out with that Midwest swang. That was real big. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Now going towards like the East Coast. I mean, obviously, like Biggie. I'm trying to remember one of these dudes' names. I can't remember it, but he died young. Big L. Big L. Yes. Big L was super dope too. I just something about the way he spoke. His voice was was just so different than everything else. A newer cat that I really liked that was extra gritty was Uncle Murda. I really, he was just so grimy, man. Especially on that. He actually ended up having a song on Grand Theft Auto 4, I want to say, called "Anybody Could Get It." That song was nuts.
Yeah. Uncle Murda super disrespectful, boy. He don't care.
He did not care. Lil Wayne fan as well. I've been a Lil Wayne fan since his second actual CD, and I'm not talking about the second CD that people think I'm talking. I'm not talking about no Carter 2.
You're not talking about Carter 2. You're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about the CD before 500 Degrees or whatever he had. Damn, I cannot believe. I'm gonna have to look that up real quick because that's gonna piss me off if I don't remember. Oh, it's called Lights Out. I don't have to look it up. It's called Lights Out. That whole CD was dope to me. He had this one song called Jump Jiggy Jiggy. Jump Jiggy. Yeah. And it was and it was super dope. I started getting more into like I don't know. I felt like I got really big into rap a long time, and I was kind of getting tired of it for a little bit. I ended up getting more into like rock and stuff like that as I got into high school, just because I wanted something else to listen to. And I was born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska, so I was hearing that stuff nonchalantly as it was. So I was like, I was starting to get into it. It is pretty dope. So like wild shit like The Used was really big to me. I really liked The Used, Taking Back Sunday, just kind of emo kind of music is what I liked. And then obviously I love my old school kind of music. So, like Marvin Gaye. I grew up, single mama in the house, and she loved her music. So like Marvin Gaye was a big one. Tony Tone. Let's see. Like Next was really big. 112, Jagged Edge. Ready for the World. There was a lot. I'm into all kinds of music. But I find myself now more into, and it could speak to my age. Like I said, I'm about to be 34, but I find myself not even really bumping new music that much.
I'll say this, and I 1000% fill that list too. As far as the rock and roll stuff, I got homies to listen to it, but I'll say is get a new stuff a chance, even though, because you might have to search a little harder for. And I do mean this in terms of hip hop. You got to search a little harder to get some really, really good acts and everything, but just try to get a new cast a chance. Nah, nothing's gonna equal the music that you grew up on. Nothing's gonna equal like the nostalgia that you have for the music that you came up on.
That's anybody too.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like everybody has that nostalgia for music where it's like you can't take this away from me. This was good back then, and it's always gonna be good to me, and I can re-listen to it every day.
Yep. Indeed. So it's just one of those things. For me, Jeezy probably, like I said, I know Jeezy he ain't my favorite rapper, but you gotta understand, like what he did was he was the first non-lyrical rapper for me to be like, all right, I really like what's going on here. I'm not even out in the street like that, but I like what he's doing here because, pardon the pun, but he motivated everybody. Like he motivated you to get money, especially with the second album. Thug Motivation 102. But let's see. Do I have any more questions? I'll say because I asked you like musically, and I asked you,
I really used to enjoy the beefs between rappers too, because like I used to really get into that stuff. So what's it called? So like DMX versus like Jay-Z was really good to me, and like Lil Flip, T.I., Jeezy, Gucci Mane. Like I really loved that stuff because no, we cannot have no potatoes right now. You goof. Go put those back.
Potatoes are healthy.
Okay. But but yeah, I used to really get really big into those beefs just because for some reason, I don't know, but I felt like when the rappers were beefing, they always came out with the hottest most wild freaking music. And the diss tracks were rough. I remember that Ether joint that Nas had. That's like legendary. That's still to this day, if you bring up Nas to anybody, if they know Nas, they know Ether.
Oh, for sure. I take it back a little bit as we get ready to wrap things up. When Jay did what he did, like this was pre-internet. Well, internet was there, but it just wasn't as good as it is now. Wasn't popular as it is now. When Jay had Prodigy on that Summer Jam scream, God bless the dead, of course, but that was a lot. Like that was a moment in the game. You mentioned Gucci and Jeezy. Like yo, somebody died behind that. And then
that was
recently,
sad.
and fairly recently, they did the versus thing, and then they hit the stage together and all that, and then they went and go party after that. I mean, that showed me that you can kind of make up with people, but I mean, if I'm Jeezy, I never do that. Like, yo, he killed my homie. Like, that ain't.
Yeah, but his homie did go up in his house.
I know. No. I'm not saying that his homie had the right intentions. But like, yo, you're not going, like, you know, regardless of what happened and why it happened, like, you're not going to sit up here, first of all, clap my homie. You know, he put him in a blunt, to be quite frank. And not only that, he put it in a record. And then he performed the record again. Like, nah, I don't know if I got that in me to stomach that. Because, like, first of all, when
Jeezy was just sitting there like saying, it's all about the money, it's all about the money, it's all about the money.
It don't. But you know what though? No. Because Jeezy got to hold that. Because you remember on the Stay Strapped, you might remember on Stay Strapped, he was like, yo, $10,000 for that So Icy chain. You know, take it up off his neck or knock it up off his neck, whatever he said. And they ran up in the crib and, you know, Gucci did what he did. And he defended himself. It's just one of them things. Like, I don't know. It's just, that's something that you gotta live with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's something that you really gotta, like, you gotta live with the fact that you started something for whatever reason, and now your homie gone behind that. You gotta live with that. Like, that's a lot to live with. That's a lot that you gotta, because you gotta wake up every day and look yourself in the mirror behind that. But that's just me. As far as like the beef and all that stuff go, Game and 50 was Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That was something else. That Ice Cube, NWA, for me, if I want to take it back. But that was another. Let's see. Before I go, I don't think I have any other questions. I just want to take the time. I want to take the time to thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No, I want to take the time to thank you for having me, because like this is, you know, no matter how easy, I guess this might have been, like this ain't the easiest thing for me. Cause like for real, like again, we was talking like earlier, like everybody, you know, a lot of people may not be on your type of time, which is cool. You a cool brother, dog. So everybody that might not be on that type of time, and I got a few people that I'll be brief about because I got to go to bed. But behind the scenes, I got a few people that I want you to link up with. I mean, I'll make sure I'm gonna hit them up, let them watch this. But I'll make sure that a few of the people who I do know, I'm gonna make sure I'll bring them in line over here, because this was dope. I had fun, man. Like I definitely had fun being over here.
Great. That's fantastic. And that's what I'm here to do, is just to connect, not only myself to people, but also people together once I, you know, learn about them and whatnot. I do my best to kind of gauge and bring people together. And that's why I ended up making a separate channel. If you heard me talking earlier at the beginning of the show, how I said I also have another channel with a few other friends. Well, all those friends I got in this podcast. And then I put them all together, and now we do a podcast every Sunday together. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm into. It's just like bringing people together, whether we all, you know, love the same things or not. It's just, you know, it's all about gaming and just, you know, respecting each other, because we all love the same thing at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Like whether you're into the next Starfield or not at all, you're gonna have an opinion that makes sense to you, and I want to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So the very last thing I'm gonna have you do before we close out and end the stream is I'm gonna have you describe gaming in just 3 words.
Ooh, wait. I know life-changing is 2 words, but I'll say life-changing for 1 word. life hyphen changing. We gonna rock with that. Let's see. Let's see. Controversial. And art will be the last one.
Life-changing, controversial, and art.
Yep.
4 words, but you saying
Yeah, I know.
but you're smushing that first one into 1 word. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, brother, go on ahead and let everybody know where they can find you one more time, and then I'm gonna close it out for us, bro.
Yeah. Hey, Hustle and Motivate on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. Hustle and Motivate. Just hit me up. You know, I'm a pretty nice guy. I'll be chilling. I'm always down to listen to other people's opinions and you know, tell me what games y'all playing, etc., etc. You can find me every Wednesday on the Iron Lewis channel, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lord Addict, man. And whoever the third chair might be. So, you know, we have fun. Oh, wait, this Sunday, since this will be out by now, this Sunday. So we didn't have a podcast this past Wednesday or yesterday, but we will have one on Sunday. It'll be me, Addict, and I guess whoever else he can, you know, get together in place of the Iron Lewis podcast.
2 shows?
Yeah, I think he has an interview. I might be wrong. I misunderstood that tweet, but I think he's doing one with us, and I think he's doing an interview right after that. So shout out to Addict. And if you don't see me there, whatever, support Addict and them anyway. Support ILP and support me. Hustle and Motivate everywhere that you go, man. I had fun. Ham. This is fun. Like I really had a good time. Like,
I'm happy you did.
Yeah.
I'm happy I could do that for you. But anyways, y'all, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button, as I'm going to have more people coming on the show in the near future. I believe this coming Tuesday, I'm having J-Rock come up on the show. And then, go on ahead and subscribe, but definitely hit me up on Twitter as well if you want to connect with me or get on the show sometime in the future. I'm very open, as you could hear, about talking to different types of people, no matter what platform you play on or whatnot. Everybody deserves to spit their bars, so I'm here for them. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Be safe. And as I like to put it every time I end the episodes, keep it gaming or keep it moving. Y'all take it easy. Peace out.
Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. Come on. Come and talk to me.
I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you were playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you, no doubt about it. Boosie, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you were playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see your swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me. I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my play ways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I'll give you all that I got. So baby, I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you if you quit playing. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation?